in Arlington, the Cowboys with a record of 8-6, same as the Redskins, same as the Giants. Saints have won the toss. Travaris Cadet is back deep. Dan Bailey will get things started. And we are underway from Cowboys Stadium. Saints will start from the 20-yard line. Led out onto the field by Drew Brees. He was born in Dallas, moved to Austin as a youngster. Despite the 6-8 record, Brees leads the NFL in both yards and touchdowns, tied for the most interceptions as well.
Yeah, a little bit of good, a little bit of bad. The interceptions, one of the reasons why this has not been the type of season that the Saints hoped to have had this year.
Darren Sproles in the backfield along with David Thomas. Eric Olsen in, number 69, as an extra blocker. First and 10 from the 20. Brees under pressure, stays on his feet, and then throws it away.
I like the pressure early in the game, Darryl. That's Rob Ryan's personality.
Well, you're going to be able to do that from both sides, too. Anthony Spencer, number 93, double-digit sacks this year for the first time, and you've got DeMarcus Ware on the other side. Actually, Jason Hatcher there, who breaks free and flushes Drew Brees out of the pocket.
Mark Ingram in the backfield on second down. It's Ingram, the former Heisman Trophy winner, and he gains 3, so third down and 7 coming up for the Saints' third-ranked offense.
It is a good group, and it starts up front. And when we see teams that struggle, a lot of times it's the offensive line. That's not the case here. This is a good group up front. They get everything going for the skill set, whether it's the run game, pass protection for Drew Brees. This is one of the most challenging things for a defense, the amount of skill players they have and the way that Drew Brees distributes that ball during the course of the game.
3 wide receivers. Pierre Thomas is the back. Saints must get to the 30-yard line. And they do, as the catch is made for a first down by Marcus Colston, gain of 15.
And that's the hard part. You know, you can put the New Orleans Saints into some third and long situations, but there's so much chemistry, there's so much confidence in this group that it really doesn't faze them at all.
So a new set of downs for the Saints from their 38-yard line with Sproles and Thomas, the split backs. Saints without their fullback, Jed Collins, today, so Thomas will see action at that position. This is Sproles, puts a move on Spencer, and picks up another New Orleans first down out to midfield, gain of 12 as Sproles was slow to get up.
And this defense has done a nice job. A lot of injuries on this side of the ball, but the one constant and one of the more important things is the ability to rush the passer with Anthony Spencer and DeMarcus Ware, and to play good on the corner in the passing game with Brandon Carr and Morris Claiborne. So there's going to be some other guys that'll sprinkle in here during the course of the game to make a play here and there, but they've got some good foundational defensive players.
Claiborne returning from the concussion. This is Ingram. And he's able to gain 5. Down to the Cowboys 45. Ernie Sims, Dan Connor in on the tackle. Saints without a couple of backs.
Yeah, you need your fullback, and it'll be a question of how that works out with pass protection. Jay Ratliff with that hernia. That's been a big miss in the middle of that defensive line for the Cowboys all season long, as he's been in and out of the lineup.
And Tony mentioned the new name defense. Cowboys also with 5 defensive starters on injured reserve. So a number of new faces. This is Thomas. And it's Anthony Spencer who makes the tackle. Gain of 2, so it will be third down and 3 for Drew Brees and the New Orleans Saints on their opening possession. Saints continue to shuffle personnel. They started the season 0-4. Got to 500 at 5-5, but then lost 3 in a row. Third down and 3. Bunch formation to the right. Brees looking to throw on third down. And the catch is made. Good second effort by Thomas. And he picks up a Saints first down to the Cowboys 29 before he was finally tackled, gain of 13.
Yeah, you can't just throw a shoulder at Pierre Thomas. And Michael Jenkins, number 21, plays this pretty well. He sees everything develop in front of him, is there to make the tackle, maybe even short of the first down. But you got to wrap up, Tony. We see this so often during the course of the year.
Yeah, well, he wouldn't have gotten that first down if he wraps up right there. Pierre Thomas, too big of a guy, too strong of a runner just to throw a shoulder at, like you mentioned.
Again, Olsen in as an extra blocker. Thomas the lone back. Breeze with time to the outside. It's Colston. And the ball knocked free. Out of bounds. Another first down for Marcus Colston inside the red zone to the Dallas 18.
And DeMarcus Ware got all the way out there, Dal. Did you see that? Did a nice chop at the ball. The ball came out late, but that's a nice hustle by him. Chop right there. Colston, the ball was away from his body. That's what this Dallas Cowboys defense needs. They need a turnover. They need to steal possessions and control the clock against Drew Brees.
Ninth play of the drive for the Saints. 1st and 10 from the Dallas 18 off the fake to Thomas. Brees can't find anyone. Throws it away.
And this Dallas defense, even though they've got new players on here, Tony, they're going to have to stay aggressive. They can't sit back and just play simple coverages because Drew Brees will pick them apart. They've got to give him some different things. It looks like right here on this defense, they did that. But this is the type of drive that the Saints will do if you are not doing some different things. You take your chances, play aggressive, and hope these guys can make some plays.
Darren Sproles in the backfield, 2nd and 10. Brees does a 360, cuts away from Spencer. There are 2 penalty flags as Brees throws it out of bounds.
See if Anthony Spencer got up to the helmet of Drew Brees.
Foul. Freshman to face mask, 93, defense. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
Hey, just a little high on this. Is a nice job of coming through. I don't think he was trying to grab the face mask, but you can't do that. Obviously, it's a penalty, personal foul, which is going to give them even better field position than they have now. But it was a nice job by Spencer getting back there and getting some pressure on him.
Spencer, like Brees, a Purdue product, although they did not play together. So the officials will spot the ball half the distance to the goal line at the Cowboys 9. 1st and goal for the Saints. Ingram in the backfield. Now Eric Olsen shifts into the backfield. This is Ingram, hop step, and then into the end zone for a Saints touchdown.
Again, it's the patience of a running back, not being at full speed when you get the ball. I want you to watch Mark Ingram and the patience, and then when he sees this very, very small hole open up, he explodes through it. He's patient, now he bursts through for the touchdown.
Yeah, he did a nice job following right there. Eric Olsen, who was a big guard who lined up in the backfield, big body, hid behind him and found that little hole.
4th touchdown the last 6 games for Mark Ingram, who celebrated a birthday on Friday, turned 23. Marking the extra point 2 days after Ingram's birthday. A touchdown here in Arlington. It is to ride in 57 Chevrolet. 3 very important games today. Redskins, Cowboys, Giants, all 8-6. Cowboys trail 7-0. Redskins trail the Eagles 7-0.
Yeah, and the Redskins hold some of the tiebreakers right now, but both Washington and Dallas control their destiny. You can see right there that big game, Week 17, Dallas at Washington. If you win out, you're in with those 2. The Giants have to win out and have Dallas and Washington go 1-1 down the stretch.
As far as the division, but the Giants do make the playoffs if they win each of their last 2 games. This is Wayne Harris on the return for the Cowboys, and he takes it out to the 24-yard line. 29 yards on the return. Tony Romo on the Cowboys offense next. Welcome back. Kenny Albert, Darryl Johnston, Tony Siragusa. Saints lead the Cowboys 7-0. Dallas starting from their own 24-yard line as Romo swings it out to DeMarco Murray. Wow. He just balls pass over David Hawthorne.
I think that was a statement right there, Darryl.
That is why this is a different offense when DeMarco Murray is on the field. This is a game of collisions, not a contact sport, but a game of collisions, and there's a big one right there, and that kind of energizes this whole offense. The offensive line loves when they have a guy that runs that hard.
Murray gained 5. Now 2nd and 5. It's Murray again. Up the middle, picks up a Cowboys first down out to the 38-yard line. Time for a game break to Los Angeles. Kurt Menefee.
Well, you guys have set up the scenario in the NFC East. Cowboy fans will like seeing this. Jeremy Maclin, 27-yard reception for the rookie Nick Foles, and the Eagles, who had gone for it on 4th and 1 to keep that drive alive, score first and lead it 7-0. Kenny Moose and Goose.
Thanks, Kurt, against a Redskins team that has won 5 in a row, following a 3-6 start. Romo's pass is caught for a first down. It's Des Bryant to midfield. Bryant has been spectacular over the last 6 games. He picks up 13.
Well, one of the big challenges for the Cowboys all season long has been their offensive line. It's been a work in progress. It continues to be. They're coming off their best game last week against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Doug Free gets the start, but you'll see Jeremy Parnell out there as well. And we saw on the first 2 plays, DeMarco Murray, I really think he's a difference maker, and that's a nice set of skill players when you got Des Bryant, Miles Austin, and Jason Witten working the field.
From midfield, play action. Romo backs it up, still looking, then swings it out. John Phillips, the tight end, the intended receiver, and Jonathan Vilma right there on the coverage for the Saints.
And this Saints defense coming off their best performance of the season. Those are all first-round draft picks right there on that defensive line. They set the tone for this defense, especially the way that defensive coordinator Steve Spagnuolo builds this. Curtis Lofton has been great in the middle for these guys. And the secondary, Issa Abdul-Kadouz, in for Malcolm Jenkins, who was on IR earlier this year.
Saints defense ranked 32nd. That's last in the league, but playing better as of late as Austin takes it to the New Orleans 43. First shutout for the Saints franchise last week since '95. The week before, they allowed 52 to the Giants, but much of that set up due to field position thanks to the Giants special teams.
Yeah, it's been complimentary for the Saints this year, and Steve Spagnuolo, when he came in to put this defense in, it was a big change from what Greg Williams had done previously here. So it's taken the guys a little bit longer. They're starting to understand it. They're starting to excel in their roles on the defense.
3rd down and 3. Witten in the slot. Romo spins, and he's down back at the 49. Pressure from Tom Johnson. Cowboys forced to punt it away.
That's one area that Romo does not want to see pressure, is right up the middle. Watch the inside right here. This is right in his face. Now, Tony Romo can work a pocket really well, but when the ball is in his face and he has those ends coming on the outside, there's nowhere to go. It's hard for him to go and work that pocket. So good job by New Orleans of bringing that pressure right up in his face.
Here's Brian Moorman, the longtime Buffalo Bill, signed to replace Chris Jones in late September. Darren Sproles calls for the fair catch. Back at the 9-yard line. Saints out to a 7-0 lead here in Arlington. 7-0 Saints. New Orleans drove 80 yards on their opening possession. And now we'll start from their own 9-yard line. Sproles in the backfield, along with Thomas. Darren Sproles. Not much.
And that's going to be the key today for Dallas. Can they stop this running game with 7 guys in that defensive box? Because if you have to add the 8th guy, that's what this offense is waiting for. That's when they get their mismatches down the field. So Rob Ryan, he's really got to count on that defensive line and those linebackers to be able to stop the Saints running game.
Saints send in Pierre Thomas, 2nd down and 9. Breeze on the slant, and it's caught, taken for a first down by Lance Moore. Time for another game break with Kurt.
Well, the Minnesota Vikings trying to keep their playoff hopes alive at Houston. Nice bootleg by Ponder there, hooking up with the tight end Kyle Rudolph. First touchdown of the game, 7-3. Minnesota with the lead. And for those keeping track, Adrian Peterson, 4 carries, 20 yards so far. Kenny, Moose Goose.
All right, thanks, Kurt. Vikings only 3 wins a year ago, still very much in the hunt. Play action on first down. Brees swings it out. Devery Henderson unable to make the catch.
They're stretching the field. They've got a clear route taken down the field, opens everything up. And it's a good decision by Drew Brees. Devery Henderson's just got to finish that play. He had some running room.
Now 2nd and 10, just over 6 minutes remaining. First quarter here in Arlington. 3 wide receiver set. Late handoff to Sproles, and he gets tripped up by Sterling Moore, one of the 7 defensive players Goose referenced earlier signed since the start of the season. Moore signed off the Patriots practice squad on December 1st.
Sometimes tackles, Darryl, aren't pretty, but they work. You know, sometimes he's going to dive and swat at that foot a little bit, and he got him down. So that was a nice tackle by him, because if he didn't, he might still be running.
3rd down and 9. And the play is blown dead.
Full start, number 74, offense. 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
Left tackle, Jermon Bushrod.
Well, that's going to happen when you've got DeMarcus Ware lined up across from you. And Joe Bitt told us, he said, listen, you know, this reminds me of when we played the Indianapolis Colts in the Super Bowl when they had Dwight Freeney and Robert Mathis. When you've got 2 great guys coming off the edge, you've got to take care of that. So New Orleans can't get too aggressive, and DeMarcus Ware might be able to get some 5-yarders a couple times during this game.
Now 3rd down and 14. Saints must get to the 31. They set up the screen. And Sproles breaks free. He's close. It will depend on the spot. And Darren Sproles has picked up a Saints first down.
Nice job on the screen here out to the left-hand side. Big guys getting on the body. Gives so many opportunities for Darren Sproles to take a nice cut. Him out in the secondary is not what you want to have.
He needed 14, Goose, and he gained 15. Saints are now 3 for 3 on 3rd down today. Brees fires over the middle, another drop. This time it's Colston.
And this has been an issue for this group all season long. Jimmy Graham leads the NFL with drops right now at the tight end position. And it can't do this any better. It's perfect. I mean, they design a route combination that just opens up that middle of the field. Marcus Colston there. For all you young guys, you can see he's turning his head before he's got that catch secured.
2 drops on this drive. First, Henderson. And now Colston. Olsen shifts into the backfield. This time, Colston makes the catch. Claiborne could not bring him down alone. Sims over to help out, a gain of 9.
And this is what you have to guard against. You know, you see that same motion. This is what they scored their touchdown on. You know, Eric Olsen is out wide. He's going to motion in, comes all the way into this spot. Well, we're thinking power run. Well, Brees is just going to pop up, throw that quick slant to the outside for some easy yards.
Well, now another 3rd down. We mentioned a moment ago, Saints today 3 for 3. Full house backfield, and trying to work his way through is Ingram. He does, and has a Saints first down, so they remain perfect. 4 for 4 on 3rd down in this first quarter.
Now, Rob Ryan and his group cannot get off the field on 3rd down, and a couple of them in 3rd and long situations. And they're hitting them a number of different ways. Deep routes, screen passes. They really have this Dallas defense off balance. I think that's one of the big challenges this year for the Saints, too. They have not controlled the flow of the game like they're doing up until this point today during the course of the season on a regular basis.
Ingram out to the 44-yard line. Mark Ingram with the game's only touchdown, ran it in from 9 yards out. against the Cowboys squad. You talked about it earlier, Darryl. They've had some big fourth quarters, but have gotten off to slow starts. Cowboys with only 3 first-quarter touchdowns all season. 10th play of the drive coming up for the Saints. They had a 10-play drive earlier. On 2nd and 8, play is blown dead.
False start, number 80, offense. 5-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
Jimmy Graham.
I'm very impressed with this offense right now, Kenny. I mean, they get into that rhythm, they play that up-tempo style, and they're in the zone right now. I mean, it's impressive to watch the Saints offense when they're firing on all cylinders.
Breeze on 2nd down and 13 to the outside of the catch is made by Graham.
And this is Michael Coe, one of the new guys covering Jimmy Graham. And this is a tough matchup for just about anybody. And, you know, he kind of plays it well. You understand what the guys are doing, but there's so much confidence between Drew Brees and his receivers that even in tight coverage, that ball's going up in the air, and he's going to give his guys a chance to make those plays.
Graham gains 13, another Saints first down. Saints have run 20 plays, Cowboys only 6. From the Dallas 48, it's Sproles. Sproles up the middle to the 43-yard line for a gain of 5.
I'll tell you what, Darren Sproles hits that hard quick. I'll tell you, watching him down here on the field, he is just super quick. He came and he hit that hole right there. If you don't get him down right away, he can get a move on you. Now, how do you stop this guy?
From the 43 on 2nd down. Brees dumps it off to a wide open Thomas. And Pierre Thomas takes it down to the Cowboys 26-yard line, gain of 17.
Now that's what happens when you have so many guys you have to worry about. You forget about Pierre Thomas in the backfield, Jimmy Grant, Devery Henderson, all these guys on the outside. You just drop him down on a little check route and look at the amount of field in front of him that's uncovered.
How about this, Darryl? Saints have run 22 plays. They have 11 first downs in the first quarter. Impressive display by the New Orleans offense. Ingram stays on his feet. Some more missed tackles. Probably shoved out of bounds by Spencer at the Cowboys' 18-yard line.
Brandon Carr coming in. Secondary support to make this tackle, but he just doesn't finish the play. Watch 39 right here. A quick inside move, and you're up high again. You cannot tackle Sproles up high. You cannot tackle Pierre Thomas up high. You cannot tackle Mark Ingram up high. These guys are too physical with the way they run.
Remember, the Saints started this drive at their own 9-yard line. This will be the 14th play as time winds down here in the first quarter. Ingram up the middle, and he is wrapped up, forced back by Sean Lismore as the first quarter comes to an end here at Arlington. Saints have run 24 plays to the Cowboys 6. New Orleans on the move, leading by 7. We start the second quarter here at Arlington with the Saints leading the Cowboys 7-0, and the Saints facing a 3rd down and 1. This will be the 15th play of their drive.
I mean, methodical. Methodical is the only word I can think of right now to describe the Saints offense today. I mean, all different facets, anything they want to do.
This is Ingram. Not looked like he got there.
That's a big stand by the Dallas defense right there.
Yeah, they had a nice wall built. Let's take a look right here. Look at them all in the line of scrimmage. Nice wall. Now somebody just has to go and make the tackle. Right now, Ingram's back there and no one has him wrapped up. See him driving his hands. He's going to pop out. And then he's going to surge forward a little bit, and I think that's where he gets it.
So Garrett Hartley, Southlake, Texas native, hit his last 8. This is a 36-yard attempt. And Hartley's kick is no good. Wide to the left. For a 15-play drive, Saints come away with nothing. Missed opportunity for the Saints offense. They drive 15 plays, 73 yards. Come away with nothing. So the Cowboys, who have run only 6 plays today, start from their own 26. Jeremy Parnell in at right guard for Doug Free. Romo drops into the shotgun. On first down, DeMarco Murray. Murray out to the 31, gain of 5.
And now you're talking about a group that's got to kind of come out and find their stride. And that's hard for DeMarco Murray as a running back. He reminds me of the backs that get better as the game goes on. And, you know, he starts to recognize how they're trying to defend him, how his guys up front are blocking those defenders. And when you have a team like New Orleans that controls the ball as much as they have up until this point, it's hard for a guy like DeMarco Murray to find that rhythm.
2 tight ends set, second down and 5. Austin in motion. Romo throws, and it's Bryant. What a catch. Patrick Robinson thought he had a chance to break things up. Des Bryant gains 10 and a Cowboys first down.
That's some really strong hands at the point of the catch, working down on the bottom of the screen. Just a simple little curl route. And you're right, Kenny. And Patrick Robinson is right there. Look at the strength in the hands of Des Bryant to pull that away and get it in secured for a catch.
Des Bryant playing with that broken left index finger has been spectacular over the last 6 weeks. From the 42 on first down, off the play fake. Romo going deep for Bryant. He makes the catch and walks it in for a touchdown. 58 yards from Romo to Bryant.
You've got to be careful if you're going to go one-on-one with Des Bryant on the outside. He is physical. He is athletic. Here's your play action here. You get everybody to bite up. Now you've got one-on-one down the field. You had your safety come all the way up into that mix. That's like stealing for Des Bryant and Tony Romo.
Des Bryant should thank DeMarco Murray for the way he's been running the ball, because that play action, man, they all bit, just like you said, Darryl.
For Bryant, his 11th touchdown this season, his first in the first half. Bryant celebrates. The quick strike Cowboys tie the game at 7. Hope they send some of that up to the booth. Well, Des Bryant ties a franchise record, a touchdown in 7 consecutive games. Fred Clark, Bob Hayes, and Terrell Owens, the last to do it back in 2007. Cowboys tie the game at 7. This is Pierre Thomas on the return, and he is brought down shy of the 15-yard line by Dwayne Harris. Cowboys celebrate. Tie game at Arlington. Well, the Eagles got out to a 7-0 lead. Redskins with a field goal. Here in Arlington, a 7-7 game. Both the Cowboys and Redskins control their own destiny for the division. Here's Des Bryant. It was the Cowboys touchdown. Darryl, we travel with you every week. It's your first weekend at home.
Love it.
You had some extra time here in the Dallas area and did some shopping.
Well, you guys said come with the ugly Christmas sweater, so I can follow instructions. And hey, you know, this is in representation of the ugly start by the Dallas Cowboys today. But that last transition of plays was unbelievable. The 3rd and 1, New Orleans has been unstoppable. They stopped that, the missed field goal, and then the big pass play to Des Bryant. And momentum is such a difficult thing to establish and then maintain control of during the course of the game. And Dallas did a great job in that sequence of stealing all that momentum from New Orleans.
58 yards from Romo to Bryant to tie the game. And speaking of ugly sweaters now.
Hey, this doesn't even come close to Darryl's. I'll tell you what, he looked like a jolly old fellow up there. Touche, Darryl.
Saints 4 for 5 on 3rd down today. Saints must get to the 24 as Breeze throws, and it's Lance Moore who picks up a Saints first down.
Man, way too much of a cushion there. You know, you got to play that line and defend it.
DeMarcus Ware gets there quick, Tony. He's got the pressure right in the face, but there's that big cushion you're talking about.
Yeah. Claiborne, man, he's got to hug up there. He's got to know where that first down marker is, and knowing that that's where the receiver wants to go. They want to keep the chains moving. Don't worry about the deep ball in that situation. Play the chains.
From the 25, it's Ingram. Ingram hard to bring down. He's out to the 32. There is a flag as Ingram picks up 7. Walt Coleman, our referee today.
Holding, number 85, offense. 10-yard penalty, still first down.
That's on David Thomas. It's the 3rd Saints penalty.
Got the big guys on the outside. You got Eric Olson also over there, coming down inside to seal. That's a sketchy call right there.
Yeah.
Maybe a single leg takedown for all our wrestling fans out there.
A little bit of stuff on that helmet right there from him, too.
Michael Higgins just noticed it. Let me clean that up for you.
Okay.
First down at 19 following the penalty. Aaron Sproles. Rolls out to the 23, another flag. Alex Albright and Dan Connor on the tackle. Again, it's against the Saints.
Number 64, offense, at the distance to the goal, still first down.
That's on Zach Strief, the right tackle, so it's the Saints' 4th penalty. Cowboys have committed just 1. Dallas, the most penalized team in the league this season.
We talked about New Orleans being inconsistent throughout the course of the season, and we're getting a great example of that right here. We talked about methodical, Kenny, you know, in the beginning of this game, how good they were, and now they're just, it's all over the place. It's kind of slipping through their fingers again.
Following the Strief penalty, it is now first down at 27 as Breeze throws it into the ground.
Nice job getting Tyrone Crawford getting his hands up. Drew Brees couldn't get that ball off. Looked like he wanted to dump it off to a little bit of the screen there.
Yeah, it's good recognition by the Dallas defense, Tony, because Zach Strief is kind of that quick set. Now he's releasing. If you're going to see a tackle release, and you also got Darren Sproles coming the same way, they saw that little quick screen out on the perimeter, and it was defended well.
Saints have put together 2 very impressive drives, but now face a second down at 27 back at their own 8-yard line. And they'll keep it on the ground with Thomas. And he loses yardage. Hatcher and then Claiborne, DeMarcus Ware on hand as well. So it will be 3rd down and about 29.
You hear about gap control, and this is what it is, gap control. Keep forcing that running back to the sideline. And it was originally Morris Claiborne kind of coming in and closing that inside running lane that looked like it was open.
So the Saints have drawn up on 3rd and 29. Sproles cuts to the outside, but not nearly enough. Forced out of bounds by Mike Jenkins. Gain 17. Saints will punt it away.
Saw Victor Butler in that middle linebacker position. Right now we've got word from the Cowboys bench that Ernie Sims is suffering some dizziness. He's trying to come back from a concussion, so his return is questionable. So again, another person on that Dallas defense maybe not able to finish this game, and these guys just got to step up and keep playing.
Sims dinged up last week. Today's his 28th birthday. He's on the sidelines. Terrific kick by Morstead, returning home. Played at SMU. Grew up in the Dallas area. Harris takes it out to the 25 before he was tackled by Ramon Humber. 7-7. Another Redskins field goal in Philadelphia. Redskins, Cowboys, Giants, all 8-6. Giants started the year 6-2. Redskins have won 5 straight. Cowboys have won 5 of their last 6.
Been a roller coaster run in the NFC East.
And it will be the Cowboys and Redskins next Sunday in Landover, Maryland. Cowboys start from the 25-yard line. DeMarco Murray, a couple of flags are thrown as Murray stays on his feet and gains 9, but there are 2 flags.
And that's why I have a lot of respect for DeMarco Murray, because there was nothing there. That was all him, and that's the style that he plays with.
Offense, 10-yard penalty, still first down.
Oh, Darrell, that's the fullback, Lawrence Vickers.
Got to let him go at a certain point. You can grab a little bit of jersey from time to time, but you got to let it go.
You got to stay nice and close so they don't see it.
Exactly. But this offensive line, they're coming off their best performance of the year last week against Pittsburgh, but they're not going to dominate anybody. So I think that DeMarco Murray, as physical he is and how hard he runs, that is critical for this team to have success offensively.
Doug Free back at it right tackle. We saw Jeremy Parnell on the last series. First down and 20. The toss to Murray. Murray out to the 19. Jonathan Casillas made the tackle for this Saints defense. 8.5 remaining, second quarter. Saints scored on their opening possession. Drove 15 plays, missed a 36-yard field goal, and then the Cowboys in 3 plays tied the game. Tony Romo, 58-yard strike to Des Bryant. Felix Jones in the Cowboys backfield for the first time. Second down and 15. Romo to the outside with Bryant. Took a hard hit at the end of the play from Curtis Lofton and wants a flag.
I'll tell you what, there's a nice little communication between Tony Romo and Des Bryant.
Yeah, you can see the forearm come up into the head area. I think Des Bryant has got a point. Curtis Lofton, up with the forearm into that head area. And I think that at that time, Des Bryant was designated as a defenseless receiver.
4 of Romo's 6 completions today have gone to Bryant. Third down and 9. Cowboys must get to the 35. And they do. It's the first catch today by the tight end, Jason Witten. And it's good for 11 yards.
These guys also have a great feel. Tony Romo and Jason Witten. This is the combination on the Dallas side where it's really difficult to cover because they have such great feel and anticipation of what the other one is going to do.
98th reception of the season for Witten. 180! On first down, it's Murray. Down to Hall, takes it out to the 42-yard line.
You talk about Jason Witten on that last play, does a nice job of catching the ball. But you know what, Darrell, I'm watching him down here. He is a really good blocker up on the line of scrimmage. Take a look at Jason Witten right here. He's going to come in motion across. Now, this is a defensive end that he's blocking. Does a nice job wheeling his body, his hips over. Goes and makes a nice edge right there for Murray to go and take it to the outside.
Second down and 6. 2 tight end set. Romo to Bryant again. He breaks free. And Des Bryant will take it all the way for his second touchdown today. Again, like the first one, 58 yards.
That is the fear that Joe Vitt had going up against the Dallas Cowboys. The run after the catch, not only Des Bryant, but also Miles Austin. They are so big, so physical. It's just a quick slant, a stumble, and now it's just the strength and athleticism of Des Bryant. And that was a major concern for the Saints secondary coming into this game.
For the second time, Romo to Bryant. for a 58-yard touchdown. Cowboys lead the Saints 14-7.
Season for the Cowboys. They win their opener against the defending world champion New York Giants, but then lose 5 of their next 7. Everybody's off the bandwagon. But here's the most impressive thing, what they've done, winning 5 of their last 6 to get to second in the NFC at 8-6, and they've done that overcoming a lot of adversity. It's been very impressive to see this team come together.
Bryant ties his career high with 145 yards. And during that 6-game stretch, plus today, Bryant with 10 touchdowns.
Now remember, this is a guy playing the game with a finger that needs surgery, and he could do permanent damage to that finger. And Jason Garrett told us he walked into his office the first day when he was told what had to happen. He goes, "Don't worry, coach, I'm coming out." He had tears in his eyes telling Jason Garrett. Ball's on the ground.
Lost the football. And it looked like Bailey recovered. Now there is a flag. The question is, was Cadet ruled down? There's a penalty marker back at the 19-yard line, so a lot to sort out on this play.
And a Cowboy player down.
So Cadet was ruled down. Alex Albright is down.
Return team. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
So Cadet ruled down. Albright injured. And the Saints penalty committed by Michael Higgins. Cadet's knee was down before the ball was knocked loose by Papinga. Staff working on Alex Albright, a backup linebacker. Remember, they already lost Ernie Sims.
Now right in the middle of your screen, 55, you can see that knee-to-knee contact.
So the Dallas defense without 2 linebackers, Brady Papinga in. Papinga signed in late November. Breeze looking downfield on first down, and the catch is made by Colston. Brandon Carr brings him down after a gain of 21.
That offensive line for the New Orleans Saints does a great job of holding all those defenders right on the line of scrimmage. Plenty of time for Drew Brees to look downfield.
Yeah, that's a long developing route right there. You're bringing Marcus Colston all the way across the field.
Brees now 13 of 18. Saints over 200 yards of offense here in the first half. The toss to Sproles, and he breaks free and is close to another New Orleans first down.
And I think you have to be aware, Drew Brees did a really nice job there of getting that offense up to the line of scrimmage and quick snapping. Dallas is matching personnel and coming onto the field with their defense. They were not set and ready for that quick snap, and they had the edge right away.
Sproles did pick up the first. Saints have outgained the Cowboys, but Des Bryant with a pair of 58-yard touchdown receptions here in the second quarter. From the 42 off the play fake. Brees checks it down to Mark Ingram. Breaks away from DeMarcus Ware and is finally tackled by Dan Connor at the 49-yard line to pick up with 7.
Mark Ingram's having a nice season, finally healthy, pretty much at this stage of the year, which is very rare in the NFL, and you really see it on tape. I mean, he's got an extra quickness to his step, running very physically.
Ingram remains in the backfield, second down and 3. Just under 4 minutes remaining, second quarter. Colston on the slant. Saints pick up a first. We check in on the Redskins and the Eagles with Kurt.
And the Redskins have taken the lead. RG3 back from that knee injury. Hooks up with Josh Morgan. Fights his way into the end zone. 11-yard touchdown. Puts Washington on top. 13-7 approaching halftime. Kenny Moose and Goose.
All right, Kurt, Redskins can clinch a playoff berth today with a win and losses by 3 teams, the Giants, Bears, and Vikings. Redskins can clinch the division with 2 wins. They'll host the Cowboys next week. Brees sets up the screen. This is Thomas. Thomas able to get by Connor. And he's finally wrestled down at the Cowboys' 40-yard line, a gain of 7.
I think it's so funny. A lot of people want to know why their team's offenses don't run screens. And screens are not the easiest thing to run. There's a lot of different moving parts, the offensive line, the quarterback cell, the back getting in the right spot. New Orleans is one of the better teams that can screen in the NFL, and they're doing a nice job this afternoon.
Second down and 3. Breeze changing the play. Play clock now at 5. Breeze on second down to Colston, and he has another first down. Sensabaugh makes the tackle at the Cowboys' 32-yard line. A gain of 8 for Marcus Colston, his 6th reception of the first half.
Yeah, but you have to do this. You have to change it up on Drew Brees. Now they're going to bring pressure. They're going to go straight man-to-man across the board with one free safety back there deep. And Gerald Sensabaugh does a nice job. Gives up the catch, but makes a good tackle there. But you've got to be able to show Drew Brees different looks.
We hit the 2-minute warning with the Saints on the move, trailing Des Bryant and the Cowboys by 7. There's Cowboys linebacker Alex Albright. Sprained knee. His return is questionable. Bernie Sims went out earlier. There's Brady Papinga, the longtime Packer in the game. Breeze will try and take advantage. On first down, this is Ingram. And Ingram shoved out of bounds by Frampton at the 24-yard line. Gain of 8. And Claiborne, who missed the game last week with a concussion, slow to get up.
And they cannot afford to lose him. The one good thing they've got, the guys at the edges with Morris Claiborne and Brandon Carr. See what happens here at the end of the run. Maybe onto that right shoulder, getting tucked underneath him as he lands.
Claiborne remains on the field. Bottom left of your screen. Second down and 2. Breeze, a pump fake. Now looks left. Breeze throws. It is broken up. And then Hatcher thought he had a chance. Eric Frampton got a piece of it initially.
But, you know, Rob Ryan told us, hey, we've got a lot of different guys in there. We've got some moving parts. You know, we're just going to try to be good all day long on Sunday. But what we have to do is we have to be great situationally. In the beginning of the game, they were really struggling on third down. Here's another situation. Red zone offense. New Orleans, one of the best teams in the NFL at red zone offense. And when you've got a bunch of new guys in the lineup and you're trying to do personnel groups, you're going to have a little bit of miscommunication of getting all 11 on the field.
10 on the field that time.
Cowboys trying to get set personnel-wise defensively.
No, it's going to be difficult. And some of these guys, they joke about it, but, you know, there's a little bit of seriousness to it. They don't know their names. I mean, there's been so many recent additions. You know, Rob Ryan and his guys just trying to figure out, hey, what do they do well? What position can we put them in? How do we incorporate them into what we're doing defensively where we don't overwhelm them, but we give them a chance to make a play?
A couple of guys running off the field late once again from that Cowboys defensive huddle. Third down and 1. Breeze throws, broken up. Beautiful play by Papinga.
That's amazing that he even made that play.
And this is a matchup you're trying to create. When you can get Jimmy Graham on a linebacker, this is what you're trying to do.
And Papinga looked like he was having problems knowing what he was supposed to do. He saw Jimmy come right across his face right there. Makes a great play on the ball.
So here's Hartley, who missed wide left on a 36-yard attempt earlier. This will be from 42. And a timeout is called by the Saints.
First team timeout, New Orleans.
So Joe Vitt deciding whether he wants to pull his field goal unit off the field here.
Well, they lost the momentum that they established in the beginning of the game with a missed field goal on that 15-play drive. And Dallas is kind of taking control of it. Now they're sending Drew Brees back out onto the field, trying to reestablish that momentum that they lost.
So Vitt wanted some time to think about it and decides to send the offense back out. Saints 6 for 12 this season on fourth down. They need a yard.
It's like that same personnel they had in the last play.
clock winding down. 4th and 1, penalty markers as Breeze throws, and the catch is made by Colston.
I think the flags are going to be on Anthony Spencer.
Offside, number 93. Defense in the neutral zone at the snap. That penalty's declined. First down.
Top of your screen in the three-point stance.
Yeah, he's going on the center's head coming up, trying to time that. So a lot of defensive ends, pass rushing guys on the outside try to do, because a half a second means so much in a pass rush. He was way offsides on that one.
Penalty decline. Colston's 7th catch today. He's over 1,000 yards for the 6th time in his career.
The previous play will be reviewed.
Final 2 minutes of the half, so all reviews come from the replay booth. They will take a look at the Colston catch.
An aggressive decision by Joe Vitt to take his field goal team off, get that offense back out on the field. Down right there. Little wobble there, securing that catch all the way through. You've got to go to the ground and maintain possession.
So if it is not ruled a catch, the Saints would then take the penalty.
Yeah, great point, Kenny.
The penalty was declined. The offsides call on Spencer. So it will either be 1st and goal at the 8 or 1st and 10 at the 18.
That's 10 yards right there. That's a lot of real estate.
It'll be a first down for New Orleans either way. It will just be a matter of those 10 yards that Goose just mentioned.
I like the decision by Joe Vitt there. And get that offense back out on the field. And I know that the Saints have to have a lot of help to get into the playoffs. But really for them right now, the big thing is getting to 8-8. Get to 8-8, finish the year without that losing record. And it's been a difficult year. It's been challenging for them. But that will give them something positive to move into the offseason and start to build this team again.
Remember, it was ruled a catch on the field. Certainly looked to us like the ball came loose and hit the ground before Colston completed the process of the catch. But it will be a first down either way due to the Anthony Spencer penalty, which was initially declined.
After reviewing the play, the receiver did not maintain possession going to the ground. So it's an incomplete pass. We have offsides, number 93 of the defense. That penalty will be accepted. It'll be first down.
I think everybody in the crowd forgot about part 2 of that, Kenny. You're the only one that had it.
It was about 5 minutes ago.
What do you mean there was offsides? I don't remember offsides on that play.
Short memories here in the stadium, but it will be a Saints first down in the red zone. And you've talked about what Drew Brees has done in this area. 25 touchdowns, no interceptions for Brees in the red zone this season.
That is unbelievable. I mean, just incredible efficiency once you get to this part of the field.
Drew Brees returning to the state of Texas. He's 2-0 in Dallas or Arlington. Threw 5 touchdown passes in his first NFL game at Texas Stadium. Won a game here in the new stadium a couple of seasons back. Won a state championship in high school at Texas Stadium in '96 as well. 1st and 10 from the 18-yard line as Brees dumps it off, and Thomas takes it all the way down to the Cowboys' 2-yard line.
And he's just been sneaking out of the backfield. Somebody's got to account for Pierre Thomas.
Remember, we're talking about that linebacker level, Tony, and you're without Bruce Carter and Sean Lee, your starters. We've had guys in and out of the lineup right here. They're getting their depth. They're worried about Jimmy Graham. And then the running back sneaking out late has been one of the bigger plays that the Saints have had success with in this first half.
Cowboys use their second timeout. So it is now 1st and goal from the 2. Well, on January 4th, right here at Cowboys Stadium, it will be Heisman Trophy winner Johnny Manziel, and 9th-ranked Texas A&M going up against 11th-ranked Oklahoma. It's the AT&T Cotton Bowl Classic, January 4th, only on Fox. First and goal from the 2-yard line as Ingram tries to bounce it to the outside. Tyrone Crawford with the initial hit, and then Dan Connor made the tackle.
Good job again of filling every gap in that defense and forcing this play down the line of scrimmage. Good pursuit by Dan Connor inside out.
Cowboys use their final timeout. They will add 2 seconds onto the clock. 1:16 remaining as Connor celebrates. The former Carolina Panther. Cowboys have lost 2 linebackers today, Sims and Albright. Another long drive put together by the Saints. This will be the 12th play. Cowboys out of timeouts. Second and goal from the 6. After Ingram lost 4 yards on the previous play. Breeze looking, he throws, nice soft touch, and Lance Moore dives in for the touchdown.
That's what happens down here. You've got Jimmy Graham, who's going to have a height advantage. You've got Darren Sproles, who's incredibly quick out of the backfield. And then Lance Moore on the start and stop. Watch number 16 as he finishes his motion, gets over to that other side in. Stop and restart.
6th touchdown reception for Moore this season. For Breeze, his 37th TD pass. Partly the extra point. We are tied at 14. What's coming up on the Visa halftime report? Let's check in with Kurt.
All right, coming up on the Visa halftime report, a special holiday edition as both the Steelers and Bengals wrestle over the same Christmas gift, a playoff berth. A berth that the Indianapolis Colts can get if they just win a game. We'll tell you about it coming up on the Visa halftime.
All right, thanks, Kurt. We look forward to it as the battle for the NFC East continues. Redskins lead the Eagles by a field goal late second quarter. Washington, Dallas, and the Giants all 8-6. Redskins coming into play today. Oh, the tiebreaker. Cowboys technically in second place. Drew Brees, a Cowboys fan as a youngster, used to attend Cowboys training camp. Watch you along with Troy, Emmett, Dion, and the rest of the gang.
I'm sure someone was having fun down there at St. Edward's University, because I sure wasn't having any fun, Goose.
You told us that many a times.
Whew, those were some tough training camps.
You don't even want to go to that area anymore. You get in that neighborhood, you're like, oh.
No, I told them, I said, I really enjoy the city of Austin, but it took me so long, because every time I went down there, I was like, oh my gosh, I have to go back to training camp.
Start getting depressed on the road.
Jim, are you listening back in the studio?
Yeah.
Dwayne Harris back deep for the Cowboys. Will take an 8. So Dallas out of timeouts. 1:11 on the clock as Romo and the Cowboys offense trots onto the field. The 2 touchdown passes, both 58 yards. First time the Cowboys have had 2 touchdowns of at least 50 in the same quarter since 1983. Danny White hooking up twice with Tony Hill, 51 and 75 yards.
By the way, they've been playing offensively. Plenty of time right here for the Dallas Cowboys in this series.
And those Bryant touchdowns came 6 plays apart. A couple of quick strike drives for Romo, Bryant, and the Cowboys offense. Witten with his second catch today, 99th on the season. It's a new career high, gained 6. Cowboys, as we mentioned, out of timeouts. They used all 3 on defense on the last Saints possession.
Now keep your eye on number 33 out there, Tony. Jabari Greer, who came up to make the hit on Jason Witten, was slow getting back onto the field. I wonder if the coaches noticed that. Put somebody over there and see if you can run somebody by him.
He's lined up against Witten, bottom of the screen. Now Witten motions to the slot, so it's Ogletree matched up against Greer. Romo does a 360 and then throws it out of bounds.
That's one of those things that you really don't realize as a player, that you're doing something over and over again. And one of the things that Tony Romo does is when he escapes, he does a 360 and then moves to his left. And that was one of the big points of emphasis by Steve Spagnuolo during the preparation this week, is understand his escape route. He's going to spin and move to his left, which is unusual for a right-handed quarterback.
Now the Cowboys face 3rd down and 4. Saints have 2 timeouts. Bill Vitt standing right next to one of the officials. Will use one if need be. Well, the clock will stop. Vitt will not need to use a timeout. Pass could not be handled by Bryant, so the Saints will get the ball back.
There's Bryant coming from the outside again, just that little slant route. We've seen it work for a touchdown. And we're just a little bit out in front of him.
You know, it doesn't seem like much, but with the roof open and both end zones open, the Saints got a little bit of an advantage because the wind is to their back right here, you know, for a possible field goal right before half. So we'll have to drive as much.
That drive, Goose, took only 15 seconds off the clock. Fair catch by Sproles back at the 31-yard line. Bryant not able to get it done this time after his 2 touchdowns earlier in the quarter. So now it's Breeze and the Saints with 2 timeouts and 47 seconds. Cowboys will get the ball first in the second half. Rob Ryan telling us about the success his Cleveland Browns defense had against Breeze just 2 years ago. 4 interceptions, 2 were returned for touchdowns.
Yeah, nobody expected the Cleveland Browns to play the way that they did that day against New Orleans. So this team could have some confidence from that game and the plan that he put in place.
Breeze over the middle to Sproles. He's across midfield. Stays on his feet inside the 30 and finally down at the 25-yard line. 44-yard catch and run. Mike Jenkins is down. And this will stop the clock and help out the Saints.
And this is, again, that one play that we've seen so big during the first half is the running back out of the backfield. Now, this is going to be a post route. You're going to catch, I think, Sterling Moore in man coverage. And that's not fair right there. A guy that's just joined your team working against one of the best out of the backfield in the NFL as a receiver. So that's the thing. You rolled the dice on the defense, and Rob Ryan has got to show different looks. You can't play zone all day long. And when you jump into a man-to-man situation, you could catch a guy like Darren Sproles there with the entire middle of the field open that you have to defend.
And you got to run to the ball when Darren Sproles has the ball in the middle of the field. He's let me tell you something. He's just quick. The way he moves. The only guy, you know who he looks like to me, Darryl? Barry Sanders a little bit. Barry Sanders has embarrassed a lot of guys in the NFL in his days.
Those Jenkins helped off. Goose Sproles last year set the NFL record for all-purpose yards per game. Has had some injury problems this year. Cowboys out of timeouts. The injury, 4th timeout, is granted. Actually helps the offense, helps the Saints. They do not have to use a timeout. A look at Sproles' numbers today. How about Breeze? 20 completions in the first half. He extends his NFL record. At least 20 completions. Now at 51 consecutive games. And his touchdown streak come to an end in Atlanta a couple of weeks back, and wrote a touchdown and a record 54 straight. So 30 seconds remaining. Saints still with 2 timeouts following the 44-yard catch and run by Sproles. Breeze on first down, and Colston bobbled it and then was able to make the catch at the Cowboys 11.
This is very strange because the Dallas defense did not move. I heard a long whistle right near the snap, and Dallas froze.
Yeah, everybody stopped on a line of scrimmage. Nobody was doing anything except Breeze and Colston. They're having a huddle right now to talk about it.
That ball was snapped before he wound the clock.
So the officials talking about it. entire stadium heard that long whistle. Whistle was to wind the clock. Play started with 30 seconds on the clock. But as you guys mentioned, the Cowboys seemed to freeze for about a half second.
You're coming off of that injury timeout, and you're getting everything ready to set the play. It looked like, as he blew the whistle to wind the clock, that the ball was snapped prior to that.
Prior to the ball making, ready for play. We'll go back and put 30 seconds on the clock.
All right, so they'll put the 6 seconds back on as we welcome in Mike Pereira, our rules analyst from Los Angeles. Your thoughts on that play, Mike?
Well, Kenny, as you pointed out perfectly, Dallas was charged a 4th timeout because of the injury. So the referee, Walt Coleman, has to blow his whistle to signify to restart the clock since it was a 4th timeout. And he did it, and they snapped the ball just before he blew his whistle. That's why everybody stopped. So you know what he's doing? He's doing the good common sense thing here. And now he's telling Breeze, you got to wait for me to blow the whistle before you snap the ball, because it's not fair to the defense, obviously. So again, I think really good common sense.
All right, thanks, Mike. Great explanation as always. So the Saints now back at the 26. We hear that whistle again to start the clock following that 4th timeout. Breeze over the top and Sproles, and a nice tackle by Connor. And now the Saints will use a timeout. They have 1 remaining.
Well, it's been a fun first half of football. The New Orleans Saints come out just absolutely controlling the flow of the game the first 2 series. Mark Ingram there first. But then they miss a 3rd and short, and then miss the field goal, and Dallas gets it back. Des Bryant, his first of 2 58-yard touchdown receptions. Dallas jumps out 14-7, and then Lance Moore draws that one-on-one matchup. But he's tough. In and out of those breaks so quick.
Saints have 1 timeout remaining. There's Bryant. You can only watch with the Saints offense on the field. 2nd and 8 from the Dallas 24. Breeze from the shotgun. Steps up, dumps it off to Sproles again. Heading for the sidelines, can't get out. He's down at the 19-yard line. And now the Saints forced to use their 3rd and final timeout.
That's good defense by the Dallas Cowboys.
Final timeout.
Yeah.
30 seconds.
You take away the outside, force them to drop it down, where you're going to have to expend those timeouts. So New Orleans cannot use the middle of the field right now. Checking in on that Redskin-Eagle game again. At halftime, 13-10, Washington still leads.
Well, one thing those linebackers for Dallas are doing now are keeping their eye on any back coming out of the backfield. I mean, that's what's hurt them up to now. I mean, that's where New Orleans has been getting the majority of their big plays is from that back sneaking out. So those guys are definitely aware of it.
Remember, there's no timeout, so Saints will not have time to get the field goal unit onto the field. Well, Breeze must go to the sidelines or the end zone. He's looking. He throws to the end zone, knocked down by Claiborne. Close to the intended receiver, so the clock stops, and here comes Hartley in the field goal unit of the Saints.
Well, and we're going to talk about a defense that's trying to be great situationally with all these new pieces in. I think that the Dallas defense has done a pretty good job here in the first half. They were struggling a little bit on 3rd down as the game started, but since that time, they've played well in the red zone and on 3rd down.
37-yard attempt. Chase Daniel places it down, and Hartley's kick is good. He missed earlier from 36, hits from 37. Saints take a 3-point lead as the half comes to an end. 17-14 New Orleans as we head to Los Angeles. The Visa halftime report. Kurt, take it away. Start of the 3rd quarter. Saints lead by 3. Follow your favorite team all season long. Go to iTunes.com/NFL. Cowboys cannot clinch a postseason berth or be eliminated today. Saints can be eliminated today. The Redskins have taken a 10-point lead over the Eagles in Philadelphia. Redskins and Cowboys next week. Giants and Ravens later today on Fox. Cowboys will get the ball first here in the third quarter. On the run, it's Harris, and he loses the football. Wayne Harris never had control, and now the officials will try and get to the bottom of that pile.
And Dallas has got it. Did Dwayne Harris go back in there and get it? Nope. James Hanna. Heck of a job. You know, so we've talked about the explosiveness of all these offenses on the field today and some of the great players, and then right now the biggest play of the game is made by James Hanna, recovering that fumble.
That's Hanna, number 84. Ball wound up underneath the body of Hanna. A huge play after the Saints scored 10 points in the last 71 seconds of the second quarter. So Romo and the Cowboys go to work from the 24-yard line. This is DeMarco Murray, who carried the ball only 4 times in the first half for 23 yards. Time of possession and total plays, Saints dominated those categories in the first half.
And I agree with the guys, out in the studio. You've got to do something to keep Drew Brees off the field. 2.5 times time of possession. And you look at those passing yards, 261, 155 of those are to the running backs. So the New Orleans Saints are going after the linebacker and the safety matchup underneath against the Dallas Cowboys.
Tony Romo, 9 for 12 with the 2 touchdown passes to Bryant. On 2nd and 5, off the play fake. Miles Austin, who makes the catch for a first down out of the 45-yard line. Gain of 16. Time for a game break with Patrick O'Neill. Patrick.
Eddie, thanks. Let's show you how the Redskins made it 20-10 over the Eagles. Yes, RG3 is back with the rookie, Alfred Morris. What a season. His 10th rushing touchdown. Skins up 20-10 in this ball game. Kenny Moose and Goose.
All right, Patrick. So Alfred Morris, the rookie sensation, 6th round draft pick. Had a terrific season for the Redskins. They extend their lead to 10. Play clock at 2. Cowboys get the snap off in time. Romo with time. There is a flag far side of the field. Catch was made for a first down by Kevin Ogletree at the Saints 43.
Offside, number 94, defense lined up in the neutral zone. Now penalties decline. Play results in a first down.
Cameron Jordan. Cowboys decline the penalty. From the Saints 43. Cowboys trailing by 3. Romo hands it off to Murray, runs into his fullback Vickers, bounces the other way for a first down and more. Ever do that to you?
Oh yeah, he's come out the back door a ton of times. It took me about a year and a half to figure out what he was seeing.
Now there is a flag, guys, at the end of the play. Late flag was thrown.
This is the hard part when you've got a running back that can do this. Everything's bottled up on that side. You see right there, Will Smith, lost contain.
There's no foul on the play.
Looked like the flag fell out of the pocket of the official, so it'll be picked up after DeMarco Murray changed direction and took it all the way to the Saints 33-yard line. Jason Garrett checking his play sheet as the chains have been brought out onto the field. Just short. And what a remarkable job Jason Garrett has done, especially over these last couple of weeks. The tragedy involving Josh Brent, of course, and Jerry Brown 2 weeks ago. And our Jay Glazer reported that barring an unforeseen circumstance, Garrett will be back next season.
I didn't think there was really a question even prior to that, but what he has been able to do with this team and keep them together and keep them focused, playing the way they're playing right now has been very, very impressive. I know Jason Garrett well. I expected nothing less, and his team is really kind of unified around him. And his approach can become frustrating to the media at times because he's so consistent, and there's not a lot of mumbo jumbo there. But he's steadfast. Every day get better. We're going to do the same thing, and those types of things help through that situation.
On 2nd and inches, it's Murray, and he picks up a first down. Tony Romo told us on Friday, Jason treats every day the same, no matter what. Even keel.
I had a chance to talk to Jason Garrett right after halftime when he came out, and he said, we want to try in the second half to go and control the clock, something we didn't do in the first half. We have to run the ball more, but we can't let those guys be in control of the clock. We need to be in control, and also on defense, we need to pursue better. We're not tackling very well. We've got to get more bodies to the ball for opportunities for turnovers.
All right, thanks, Goose. New set of downs for the Cowboys. From just inside the Saints 30-yard line. Play clock at 1. Murray tries to bounce it to the outside, and he is tripped up. It was Will Smith who initially grabbed the foot. Cameron Jordan there as well. And Murray loses 6.
I know you want to be able to get this run established, and it was one of the things that we talked about that's important, but you also have to understand how good this defensive line for the Saints is playing right now. And we talked about it at the top. There's 4 number-1 draft picks across that front. They are good players. And in that first half, the better matchups were on the outside for the Dallas Cowboys.
2nd and 16. Romo throws to his right, and it's Witten. Shoved out of bounds by Casillas. Jason Witten, his 100th reception this season, gain of 6. And you think back to the lacerated sleeve that Witten suffered during the preseason, remarkably came back to play against the Giants week 1, and he hits triple digits.
Very inspirational for his teammates to be in that opening night game. I mean, he only had 8 catches after the first 3 games. He was not the normal Jason Witten we've seen that first part of the season. He sure has been since then, though.
Bird down at 10. Play clock at 1. Cowboys must get to the 20-yard line. Romo with time. He throws and could not make the connection with Bryant. Patrick Robinson on the coverage. Cowboys will send out the field goal unit to try and tie this game.
Yeah, dangerous throw right here by Tony Romo. Patrick Robinson actually gets underneath on Des Bryant. Working at the top of your screen, he senses that out route coming, and he gets underneath it. If that ball is thrown where it's catchable for Des, that's going to be a pick for Patrick Robinson.
So here's Dan Bailey, a 47-yard attempt. He's hit on his last 12 this season. And Bailey's kick from 47 yards out ties the game at 17. Got to get to the holiday spirit.
I got a great picture of my daughter. Her first time with Santa Claus. Kind of that same expression on her face.
No one likes Santa Claus at that age, man.
It's a good thing she's here today and not watching. Tied at 17. Cowboys and Saints. As Drew Brees and the Saints offense heads back onto the field. Tied at 17, early 3rd quarter. Kenny Albert, Darryl Johnston, Tony Siragusa. Saints start from their own 20. This is Ingram. Ingram takes it out across the 25-yard line. Alex Albright back in the game, makes the tackle for the Cowboys.
That's going to be important because, in that first half, the area that the Saints were really attacking and having a lot of success was underneath. They're getting those matchups with the linebackers. We talked about Sean Lee, Bruce Carter being out, and then different guys being in and out of that position. So it looked like the Saints kind of coordinated everything into that part of the field to generate their matchups. It's tough for anybody to cover Darren Sproles in that situation, but for those types of matchups, that's got to be something Drew Brees is going to feast on.
Second down and 5 as Breeze throws. He was looking for Thomas out of the backfield. Now, we mentioned in our open, Saints would need a miracle to make the playoffs. They would actually need 10 different results. Saints have to win twice. They need the Cowboys to lose twice, the Bears, Giants, Vikings as well, and the Rams to lose once.
You never know. People win the lottery, right?
Well, the only problem, Goose, the Rams lead the Buccaneers by 15, and the Vikings lead the Texans by 13. So if any of those teams hang on to win, Saints would officially be eliminated. They continue this drive with a reception out at the 41-yard line by Jimmy Graham for a gain of 16.
We've talked about some of these matchups, but here's one the Dallas Cowboys have been doing a pretty good job at. Jimmy Graham is tough for anybody. He's been a little quiet this afternoon. Again, I think a lot of that has to do with Drew Brees and his confidence with Darren Sproles and Pierre Thomas working that underneath.
Only the second catch for Graham today. Has 71 on the season, 99 last year. Sproles out across the 45. Big first half for Darren Sproles.
Yeah, and his whole group, you look at 12 catches for 155 yards for the running backs, wide receivers 9 for 93, and there was Jimmy Graham. You know, we talked about him, just 2 for the tight ends for 29 yards. So, you know, you come into the game, you've got your plan, and then as the game goes on, you find out where those matchup are that you feel you can exploit against your opposition.
Second down and 5. Ingram. Oh, beautiful tackle. And there's a flag. Anthony Spencer wrapped up Mark Ingram.
Rob Ryan very impressed how Anthony Spencer has played all season long this year.
With all the injuries, he should be impressed about that whole defense.
But we talk about DeMarco Ware a lot on the outside, or DeMarcus Ware a lot on the outside.
Holding, number 69, offense. That penalty's declined. Third down.
And, you know, a lot of times you see that sack total and everybody wonders why it's not happening on the other side. Well, that's never really been Anthony Spencer's role. You know, he's done a lot of things. He's fantastic against the run, does a heck of a job in coverage for a big outside linebacker. But finally this year, having a kind of a breakout season with the pressure that he's been generating on the quarterback with double-digit sacks.
One thing, too, he does a great job of communicating to the rest of the guys on the field of what's going on. He's a smart player on that line of scrimmage.
Third down and 8. Saints must get to the Cowboys 49. Pass was deflected and then nearly picked off by Jenkins.
That's one of those things that Rob Ryan talked to us about. When there's a chance to make a play, we've got to make that play. And they felt like they might be able to bat some balls on Drew Brees. Understand where his windows are, what he likes to do. If you can't get there, get your hands up and get a deflection. Heck of a job by Sterling Moore, kind of back on that second level to elevate and get that tip. And Michael Jenkins just misses the opportunity for the interception.
So Morstead waiting back at his 30-yard line, a 63-yard punt earlier. Wayne Harris back deep. Angled towards the sideline. Comes down out of bounds at the 16-yard line. Tied at 17, 8 minutes remaining, third quarter. Cowboys, worst starting field position of the day. Saints without left corner Jabari Greer getting tested for a possible concussion, so Elbert Mack replaces Greer. From the 16 on first down, Romo with loads of time, and then he throws short. He was looking for Witten.
Yeah, we see a lot of the escapability about Tony Romo, but here's another aspect. Watch how he moves in here, and you don't have to be this crazy athletic guy to extend the play. Watch just the little slide, the feel, the move up. That's really impressive right there. The composure he has in that pocket to just kind of slide, shift, step up, find those open throwing lanes.
Second down and 10, 3 wide receivers set. High snap, inside handoff to Murray. And Murray's out to the 18-yard line. We check in on the Packers and the Titans with Kurt.
Yeah, Atlanta wrapped up the #1 slot in the NFC, but the Packers still have a shot at the #2 seed. They're putting it on Tennessee right now. Greg Jennings, 1-yard touchdown reception. Part of a 34-0 shellacking they're laying on the Titans with 5:41 to go in the third quarter. Kenny Moose and Goose.
Thanks, Kurt. Packers have already clinched the NFC North. And 10-4. Vikings and Bears still alive. Third down and 8. Play clock at 1. Cowboys must get to the 26. Romo moving to his right. Hit as he throws. And Miles Austin unable to make the catch. So the Cowboys forced to punt it away.
Good coverage by the Saints here. Miles Austin on the outside. They've got him high and low, double covered on the side. That's a pretty good effort to try and catch that ball.
Yeah, it was a nice throw also.
Ryan Mormon. Here in the third. Takes a Cowboys bounce and roll. Rolls out of bounds at the 27. Just under 7 minutes remaining, third quarter, with the Cowboys and Saints tied at 17 to look at the NFC playoff picture.
And it is jumbled up. A lot more definitive in the AFC. How about Minnesota? You mentioned them earlier, the improvement that they have, but how they're playing it this afternoon against the Houston Texans. 16-6 Minnesota right now. They have to be everybody's surprise team in the season.
From the 27 on first down, Breeze dumps it off underneath to Thomas. Time for another game break. Kurt Menefee.
Eagles led 7-0 after the opening possession. After that, all Redskins. RG3. His 20th touchdown pass of the season, hooking up with Santana Moss. 22 yards on the score. They lead at 27-13 in the third quarter. Kenny Moose and Goose. Skins doing their part to make next week's game against Dallas for the NFC East title.
They certainly are, Kurt. Giants still in the mix as well. Breeze on the slant. It's Lance Moore. Down to the 35-yard line. Gain of 6.
And how about the change in perspective for Mike Shanahan, head coach of the Washington Redskins? We had him earlier this year. They lost at Carolina, and he said the rest of the season was going to be about evaluating his talent. He may be evaluating that talent in the playoffs this year.
That loss to Carolina dropped the Redskins to 3-6. They have not lost since. Third down and 2 for New Orleans. Sproles is the back. 3 wide receiver set. Breeze changing the play. Play clock winding down. A pump fake, and then he throws, and it's behind Colston, but there is a flag. Brady Papinga says, who, me?
He turned Colston completely around in that play.
Pass interference, number 98, defense, ball in place at the spot of the foul, first down.
One of the things that linebackers used to do when I was playing is if you were on that shallow crossing route, you were inside the 5 yards before the ball was thrown. They just come up and knock you off your feet.
Yep.
And there's opportunities here, the way that New Orleans runs their passing game, for Brady Papinga, for Dan Connor to be able to do that. It's going to be tough for them to run with these guys, but if they understand they're inside 5 yards and the quarterback hasn't thrown that ball yet, make it easier on them.
On first down, it's Sproles. Rolls out to the 43. Gain of 5. Call ** NFL to download NFL Mobile for only $5 all month long. Cowboys unbeaten this month during the month of December.
Again, one of the impressive things through this streak of winning 5 of their last 6, they had some epic collapses last season, in the fourth quarter, and they've always struggled in the month of December. So kind of gotten those two situations resolved.
Breeze on 2nd and 5, and Jimmy Graham thought about running before he had possession.
They've had a couple of big drops on Drew Brees today. That's probably the biggest one today.
Henderson, Colston, and now Graham.
They were bringing the pressure on Drew Brees. This is a perfect throw right in Jimmy Graham's hands. Just turns his head. You see it right there. Darryl talked about it earlier. You got to keep your eye on the ball, bring it in, then turn and run.
3rd down and 5. Breeze to the outside and sends the ball with a hard hit on Sproles.
Nice tackle and wrap up on that one, Darryl.
Yeah, you know, a really great break on the ball and acceleration through. Now, this is really impressive. Gerald Sensabaugh, I think, is back here. He reads that option route perfectly.
And he defends the line of scrimmage like we talked about. A 1st down marker, you'll see it come right into your screen right there, that red marker, knowing that that's where they want to get to.
Morstead back at his own 30. Wayne Harris lets it go.
That's a little bit too far out to let that punt go. We used to work on the 8-yard line is our area to let him go. That's a little bit far out for Dwayne Harris.
So the Cowboys pin deep at their own 3-yard line. Dallas Cowboys control their own destiny. 2 wins and they take the NFC East. Tied late 3rd quarter with the Saints and will start from their own 3-yard line. On 1st down, it's DeMarco Murray coming out of the end zone. Losing the football. Saints say they have it, and they do.
It's 2 weeks in a row. A critical fumble going in last week against Pittsburgh, and now a critical fumble coming off your own back end in this one. Jump cut ball inside, arm. Look at everybody going after that football. Was he down before that came out? Left knee might have been down before that ball came out.
That was Curtis Lofton going and attacking the ball. You see his hand on it right here, ripping it out.
You know what? That's too close. I think the play would stand as called on the field.
Ruled a turnover on the field, and all turnovers are automatically
The
reviewed.
previous play will be reviewed.
You know what? It's Tyron Smith's. Look at this. Look at right here. The knee's not quite down because it's sitting on Tyron Smith's foot.
So Walt Coleman will take a look at it. A couple of the Saints watching the replay on the video board high atop Cowboys Stadium. Ruled a fumble on the field.
You can see right here. Watch his knee, his left knee. And if you stop it right there, you'll see.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field is confirmed. The ball came out prior to knees being down. 1st down, New Orleans.
That's a good call. That ball was out before his knee got down.
We agree up here in the booth, Goose. So DeMarco Murray, 2nd year back, who lost a fumble last week against Pittsburgh for the first time in his career, coughs up another one, giving the Saints a 1st and goal from the Cowboys 5. What a turn of events. First Harris letting the Thomas in the backfield. 3 wide receivers. First and goal from the 5. Breeze to the end zone, and it's broken up. Claiborne on the coverage, Moore the intended receiver.
Nice job by Morris Claiborne getting this arm out to deflect the pass. Watch, he's going to get beat inside on the slant. The recovery, arm through for the tip.
Nice job by the defensive line. We talked about it earlier about them getting their hands up too. That's a great play by Claiborne right there.
Saints now send in Olsen as an extra blocker. Sproles and Thomas in the backfield. On second and goal off the fake to Thomas. Pass is off the hand of Sproles. Incomplete, so third and goal upcoming for the Saints.
Sean Lismore made that play by getting into Drew Brees' face as quickly as he did. I think he wanted to hold that a little bit more and let Sproles outflank that defense farther to the wide side. What a huge snap right here.
Breeze looking end zone. He throws. Touchdown, Pierre Thomas.
It's just so hard. I mean, you're looking for your matchups, trying to cover all these guys. Follow Pierre Thomas out of the backfield. You look to your left, there's Sproles and Jimmy Graham. I mean, everybody just loses track of him. I mean, Pierre Thomas had nobody on him. They have really taken advantage of the matchup with their guys coming out of the backfield into that middle of the field against the linebackers and safeties.
Hartley the extra point. Saints capitalize following the first turnover of this game and now lead by 7. Marco Murray coughed it up. And New Orleans able to take advantage.
It's been momentum swings all during the course of the game. New Orleans came out the first time, really kind of controlled this game until they had that 3rd and 1. They miss it. They miss the field goal, and then Dallas hits the big plays. Dallas has got to do something to sustain a drive offensively. Really, it's been 2 big plays to Des Bryant, 2 58-yard touchdown passes. That's 116 yards. They had 240 total yards going into that last series. That's only 24 yards for the rest of the offense. So what are you going to do to try and jumpstart this offense? You can't wait to the 4th quarter. I know they're confident about getting to the 4th quarter inside 14 points, and Tony Romo says we've got that confidence. We think we can win that game. This is a different opponent that they're playing against. New Orleans has the ability to strike quickly, to do long extended drives, to take time off the clock. So this is a critical possession for the Dallas Cowboys after that turnover and touchdown.
I have one very important question for you. Sweater packed away till Tuesday?
Till next year.
Till next year.
I might break it out. That one, I'll tell you. I like that one down.
I'll break it out Christmas Day. It's supposed to be cold here in Dallas. You're supposed to have a chance for snow.
Yeah, snow, they're saying.
With 4 minutes remaining here in the 3rd, Harris will take a knee. And the Cowboys will start from their own 20-yard line, trailing by 7. Well, Fox Sports is proud to partner with the Children's Organ Transplant Association during our NFL on Fox coverage. CODA is giving hope and making miracles for families whose children are facing transplants. To help change a child's life, please visit coda.org/Fox Sports. Cowboys trailing by 7. Redskins have a 2-touchdown lead in Philadelphia. Giants getting set for their game in Baltimore. Following the Murray fumble moments ago, it's Felix Jones in the backfield for the Cowboys, who has seen limited action today, not DeMarco Murray. As Romo checks it down to the tight end, Hanna. And Hanna gains 8 out to the 28-yard line.
Well, Jason Garrett's told us that going up against a Steve Spagnuolo defense, you're going to get pressure. If you can block it up, there's going to be opportunities for you to make big plays down the field. They've done that twice today. But the other area they have to get better at is just moving the chains. They have not been efficient moving the chains. And this Saints defense has continued on from where they were last week. The one big thing today, just those 2 big pass plays. But other than those 2 plays, they've played well this afternoon.
So Murray with that completion to Hanna. Romo sets a new franchise record for passing yards, breaks his own record. Passing yards in one season. Miles Austin picks up the Cowboys' first down.
You know, Darryl, big difference between the first half and the second half of the run game for Dallas also. You know, DeMarco Murray really helped that pass play develop. We saw those safeties come up on the play action because the run game was effective. Now in the second half, it seems like New Orleans has put 8 guys in the box, and they really shut down that run. So now those safeties can stay deep, and you don't have an opportunity for those big plays.
New set of downs for Romo and the Cowboys, who trail by 7. From the 31, the play is blown dead. It's a false start.
Ryan Cook just didn't snap the ball on that play. Everybody moved but him.
False start, number 82, offense. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Penalties have plagued the Cowboys this season. Coming into Week 16, they lead the league in penalties. They are second in false starts.
Those are things you have to shore up. It's so hard to win a game in the NFL today that you've got to do everything within your power not to beat yourself. And penalties, it's one of the easiest things to clean up.
First and 15. Romo looked left, throws right. It was deflected and then nearly picked off. Cam Jordan on the deflection, and then Jonathan Casillas had a chance for the interception.
Boy, did he drop a big opportunity to make another huge play for this defense.
Tell you what, that offensive line has done a pretty good job for Dallas now. They've solidified that pass rush. Tony Romo has a lot of time there in the backfield. He's going to relax a little bit and look downfield a little bit more.
Marco Murray back in the game. On the field for the first time since his fumble, which led to the go-ahead score for the Saints. Second down at 15. Romo with time. Over the top, it's Murray. And Murray running hard out across the 35 to the 36-yard line. He picks up 9 yards before he was brought down by Curtis Lofton.
Good job of after the catch. This is just a short little pass. So they've got everything covered downfield. Break that tackle there. Turn straight north-south. Lower your shoulder. Get as much as you possibly can. Give your team a shot on 3rd and 6.
Cowboys have converted just once on 3rd down today. 1 for 5. Play clock at 1. Romo near side, and Murray could not make the catch.
This is usually what you'd see Felix Jones in that situation. If we're going to open up the formation and put the running back outside and have him run kind of a true wide receiver type route, that's usually Felix Jones's role.
Romo has not gone Bryant's way here in the 3rd quarter. All 5 of Bryant's receptions coming before halftime. Sproles will let it bounce. And it takes a Cowboys roll.
Punt hit the ground, and it's a little bit short, but you got to be able to get up and make that catch.
63 yards on the punt. And the ensuing roll. Well, tomorrow Fox kicks off a holiday comedy marathon with a week of TV's best. Monday, a night of Raising Hope. Tuesday is Nothing But New Girl. Wednesday is all Ben and Kate. Thursday wraps it up with the Mindy Project. It all starts tomorrow right here on Fox. Battle for the NFC East, and the Eagles have pulled to within 7 with just under 9 minutes remaining.
I love the way the NFL schedule is unfolding this year. It's so heavily weighted divisionally in the last month. It's going to be fantastic.
Here's Ingram, and this NFC East battle must bring back so many memories for you, thinking back to the early 90s.
We had a lot of critical games in the month of December. You know, even on our Super Bowl run, we had a game against the New York Giants in the final week of the season. The winner is the NFC East champion, and there's some really bad news for Dallas Cowboy fans. DeMarcus Ware in a lot of pain.
Half minute to go, 3rd quarter. Breeze moving to his right on 2nd and 8, complete to Colston.
But I think it challenges you to be playing your best football. So, you know, it's a classic matchup next week. If Dallas takes care of business today and comes back and wins this game, and Washington continues to win and beat the Philadelphia Eagles, you can't ask for much more than that type of matchup, the final game of the regular season for the division.
Time winding down in this third quarter. Teams will head to the other end of the field. Saints leading by a touchdown. Fox NFL Sunday will continue after these messages. Well, this is not unfamiliar territory for the Cowboys. During their 5-1 stretch over the last 6 games, they have never led going into the fourth quarter.
And it's such a change from what their team was about last season when they had big leads in the second half or the fourth quarter and let those games slip away.
Trail this one by 7 as we start the fourth. Third down and 2 for New Orleans, and Pierre Thomas able to pick up a first down. Sensible on the tackle. Thomas out to the 16-yard line.
I'll tell you what, he's just so low to the ground, Darryl. You can't stop him when he's running out of the backfield like that. He finds a little bit of a crease and just keeps going, and the momentum just pushes him right there to get the first down.
Just one of those unselfish players, Tony. You know, his number doesn't get called a whole lot because they have so many explosive players on this team, but he has been key to the offense this afternoon for the Saints.
From the 16 on first down, it's Victor Butler who wraps up Thomas for a loss. More on the Redskins and Eagles with Kurt.
Yeah, it's not over just yet. The Eagles still have a little bit of life in them. Dion Lewis, 17 yards on the scamper, gets the touchdown, cuts it to within a 7-point game, 27-20. Time's starting to get a little bit late. 6 minutes left to go in regulation. Can he move through this?
All right, Kurt, now if the Redskins win and the Cowboys lose, that does not end the Cowboys' hopes for a division crown. As long as the Giants lose a game and the Cowboys win next week, still so many scenarios. As Thomas takes it out to the 19-yard line, and he is still down.
See Pierre Thomas coming through right here. That actually nice tackle by Brady Papinga, kind of textbook going down. Drove that shoulder into the knee of Pierre Thomas.
It's a race to the finish of the NFC East. Week 16, Saints leading the Cowboys by 7. Redskins over the Eagles by 7. Third down and 7. Breeze throws wide open. Jimmy Graham for a Saints first down out to the 35.
It's so funny. We talked to Drew Brees about the middle of the field, and with a lot of the rule changes and the emphasis on player safety, how the middle of the field has been opened up. But you also have to have the personnel to attack that, and they do. They've got Jimmy Graham at tight end. They've got Darren Sproles and Pierre Thomas coming out of the backfield. And all their big plays today are coming right in the middle of the field against that Cowboy defense.
And Drew Brees is doing a great job of moving those defensive backs with his eyes. Looking one way, let Jimmy Graham come across the middle, and then throwing the ball to him.
Here's Ingram, and Brees doing it against the Cowboys defense. As you saw moments ago without DeMarcus Ware, who aggravated his shoulder strain. So Ware on the sidelines. Brees with that last completion to Graham. Goes over 300 yards for the 4th consecutive game, 9th time this season. And the good news for the Saints, Pierre Thomas back out onto the field. Injured moments ago. There's DeMarcus Ware. He's gone to the Pro Bowl the last 6 years, representing the Dallas Cowboys. 2nd down and 9. Brees a pump fake, and then it is batted down after the initial bat back by Hatcher.
There it is again. Watch this defensive line, Darryl. Nice job. They're going, they're pushing the pocket, reading Drew's eyes, just getting their hands up, tipping the ball. That's a big play for a defense.
There's been a big difference in the game right there. The Saints have been very good on third down, and the Cowboys have really struggled.
Saints must get to the 45. Third down and 9. Breeze throws, and it's Colston who makes the catch and breaks free. Marcus Colston inside the 20, the 10, and he's shoved out of bounds at the Cowboys' 3-yard line.
Well, I guess we forgot to mention Marcus Colston is one of those guys that can attack the middle of the field as well. Number 12 coming out of that bunch on the inside. Charlie Pepper's got a chance to make a play and makes a poor tackle. I mean, you play it well, you've got your underneath help, you're driving on the ball. Charlie Pepper's just got to wrap him up and get Marcus Colston to the ground.
Colston takes it for 60.
Dallas only has 9 guys out here.
And the Cowboys able to call timeout.
First team timeout, New Orleans.
It's actually the Saints who called timeout. Now Cowboys on the field.
Now, if you look right here, Dallas only had 9 guys on the field. And I'm really surprised that Drew Brees didn't run this play. He decided to go and take a timeout. Now Dallas obviously is going to have 11 back out, but they were really caught in a bad situation right there with only 9.
First and goal from the 3 to the end zone. David Thomas with a Saints touchdown.
David Thomas coming out of the backfield again. And, you know, we should expect a little bit of this with all the change on that Cowboy defense, but New Orleans has seen a weakness, has found a matchup, and 85 now coming out of the backfield just to the flat. Somebody's got to carry him out there. Obviously a blown coverage. Was it a linebacker from the inside out that was supposed to have him coming out of the backfield?
Saints started the drive at their 2. They go 98 yards. Their longest drive of the season, the big play. 60 yards from Breeze to Colston. And then it's David Thomas, his 4th touchdown of the season. Cowboys now in a 2-touchdown hole with just over 11 minutes remaining as the Saints drive 98 yards in 10 plays.
They have been impressive today offensively. Just very methodical.
3 touchdown passes for Breeze. Now 39 on the season. Cowboys will start from their own 20.
Well, you mentioned, Kenny, you know, in this 5-1 run over the last 6 weeks had not led going into the 4th quarter, but their biggest deficit, 10 points against Cleveland. Now, Tony Romo said during the course of the week, if we're within 14 going into the 4th quarter, we feel like we can win that game. He's got an opportunity to prove that to everybody right now.
Cowboys' largest comeback under Jason Garrett, 14 last September in San Francisco. Cowboys start from their own 20. Des Bryant without a catch here in the second half. And there's a drop by Austin.
That's why you make the catch, because you're going to take the hit anyways. Don't worry about the defender.
Yeah, that was a great ball right here. Watch Tony Romo looking off. Perfect throw to Miles Austin. He's got to catch that.
It'll be interesting to see how the Saints play this the rest of the way. Do they stay aggressive and come after them? We've seen Dallas hit 2 big plays for touchdowns when they have been aggressive. Or with this 14-point lead, do they play it differently?
Saints still without one of their corners, Jabari Greer. Donnie Patrick in for Greer. Romo over the top. Murray. Lofton with the head. Incomplete.
That's such a critical drop by Miles Austin on the first play, Tony, because in a critical situation as an offense, you're waiting for that person to make the play to kind of jumpstart that drive. And that drop by Miles Austin on that last play, now all of a sudden there's just a huge letdown. You're emotionally in a different place as an offense.
Yeah, you got 3rd and 10 right here. You know, Tony Romo can say whatever he wants, but he needs help from his guys.
Bryant, top of the screen, split wide to the left. Romo on 3rd and 10. Throws, and it's Bryant. His first catch of the second half. Out to the 46-yard line. A 26-yard pass play for a Dallas first down.
Yeah, I think right now, if I'm Tony Romo, I'm dropping back, and I don't care where my progression takes me. I'm going to put my eyes on number 88.
Cowboys quickly back up to the line with 10.5 remaining. 3 wide receivers. Miles Austin could not hang on with Johnny Patrick and Raphael Bush there for the Saints.
Trying to fit this one into a tight spot again. He's got it there. I mean, Miles Austin has an opportunity to make that catch.
Now 2nd and 10. Bryant split wide to the right. Harris motions. Top of the screen to the left. And it's Romo again looking for Austin. 3rd chance for Austin on this drive.
Wow. And
I don't know why you're not looking for Des Bryant right now. Coming out of the slot. He beats him on the route. It's right there. Goes right through his hands, down the back shoulder, but it's not a difficult catch for Miles Austin. See the deflation in Tony Romo right there.
yeah, he's not happy right now. And he shouldn't be.
Cowboys must get to the Saints 44. Romo pump fake, hit from behind, down he goes. Junior Gillette with the takedown of Tony Romo. The Cowboys forced to punt.
Yeah, here comes your blitz, though. Here's the thing. And I'm surprised in this situation. It's going to come off this corner. Here's your blitz. Well, guess who's out there? That's Des Bryant. So now you've got true one-on-one on the outside. They can't get to him. He has to come off, and eventually the pressure gets there.
5th sack of the season for Gillette. Mormon back to punt. With under 10 minutes remaining, Saints leading by 14. Rolls lets it go. Bounces into the end zone. Saints will start from the 20. Romo under all kinds of pressure. Taken down by Gillette. Back in Arlington, Kenny Albert, Darryl Johnston, Tony Siragusa. We welcome those of you who have been watching the Vikings and the Texans. Minnesota with an impressive performance, and their win officially eliminates the New Orleans Saints, who needed 10 different things to happen to make the playoffs. So the Vikings win officially ends the Saints playoff hopes as Ingram gains a yard out to the 21. New Orleans with a 2-touchdown lead. We were tied at 17 midway through the 3rd quarter, but then a key turnover committed by DeMarco Murray of the Cowboys gave the Saints a 1st and goal on the Dallas 5-yard line. They capitalized and then scored on their next possession as well. In hole for Darren Sproles.
And this has really been the story of the game. The running backs for the New Orleans Saints have really taken advantage of a Dallas defense that's missing its key players. Little cutback.
Yeah, just caught those linebackers right off to one side.
Yeah, Dan Conner gets caught up a little bit too far inside, and then he doesn't have the quickness to get back out. And not many people do against Darren Sproles.
That's too big of a hole to fill.
Marcus Ware re-aggravated that shoulder strain on the previous series and has not been back in since that time.
From the 39.
I've seen DeMarcus Ware, and he's fought through this. He's been a warrior all season. But that was one of the things that Drew Brees talked to us is, yeah, they've got a lot of injuries, but they've still got DeMarcus, you know, and Anthony Spencer coming off the edges. You know, Brandon Carr and Morris Claiborne are still there. They've got the important parts of that defense in place, and if these other guys can step up and make some plays, you know, they'll be all right. But Drew Brees has found a way to exploit some of those matchups in the middle. during the course of this game.
Second down and 9 off the fake to Sproles. Breeze sets it down to Sproles. And he has a Saints first down across midfield. So the Saints with 200-yard receivers today. Colston with 135 and Sproles with 104 receiving yards out of the backfield. And Breeze, Darrell, with 31 completions today. He hits 4,000 for his career as the 5th quarterback all time to complete 4,000 passes. Passed Warren Moon on that list earlier today. Now with exactly 4,000. Thomas tries to bounce it to the outside, and Brandon Carr, reigning NFC Defensive Player of the Week, big interception last week, wraps him up. So Drew Brees returning to his home state, putting up some big numbers. We welcome those of you who have been watching the Redskins and the Eagles. Washington winning their 6th consecutive game, but they cannot clinch anything today due to the Vikings win. So the NFC East Division crown will come down in Week 17. It's a false start against the Saints, who lead this game by 14.
False start, number 80, offense. 5-yard penalty, still second down.
That's on Jimmy Graham. 6:10 remaining. We head to Los Angeles. Patrick O'Neill.
All right, Kenny, some of you just saw the finish to the Redskins and the Eagles. Last chance for Philly. Nick Foles hanging on to the ball, and he's going to throw it away with 1 second remaining, but that's going to be intentional grounding. 10-second runoff. Game over. Washington wins a big one. Kenny, move.
All right, thanks, Patrick. The handoff to Darren Sproles. Out to the 47-yard line. Big day for Sproles. 149 combined yards. Breeze just thrown for 385 and 3 touchdowns.
And there's going to be a lot of what-ifs for this New Orleans Saints team during the offseason. That 0-4 start, they get back into it, they claw their way back to 500 and 5-5, and then they go on that tough stretch against the Niners, the Falcons, and the Giants, and can't grab a victory there. So the little mistakes, you can go back to the Kansas City game. There's certain games that they'll go back to this year and say, if we'd have just taken care of business there, we wouldn't have put ourselves in the position we did this season.
Catch is made by Graham. And the Cowboys use a timeout. Saints finish up the regular season home next Sunday against Carolina. Just under 5 minutes remaining as the Saints get ready to punt.
We'll take you back. Here's that critical play you were talking about, Kenny. That fumble by DeMarco Murray coming off your back end. And here's one of the things we've seen all day long. That the running back coming out of the backfield into the middle of the field. And then here comes Dave Thomas again out of that fullback spot as the tight end, uncovered in the flat. So New Orleans doing a good job of really kind of taking advantage of an injury situation that the Cowboys have had at that linebacker position.
Yeah, they really haven't.
We welcome another new audience with just under 5 minutes remaining, 4th quarter. Kenny Albert, Darrell Johnston, Tony Siragusa from Cowboys Stadium in Arlington. This game was tied at 17 midway through the 3rd quarter. Saints capitalizing on a Dallas turnover, a DeMarco Murray fumble. They scored touchdowns on 2 straight possessions. And how about Courtney Roby initially keeping it out of the end zone, but now sliding in is Martez Wilson. It's a touchback.
Boy, and Dwayne Harris, I tell you what, he got close to making contact with the ball. He's on the line right there.
Roby's foot was on the line.
Great call to the officials.
Ooh, Dwayne Harris got lucky.
Touched the goal line, creating a touchback. First down.
So it will be 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line for Tony Romo and the Cowboys. Romo with a pair of 58-yard touchdown passes to Dez Bryant back in the 2nd quarter. Cowboys Had a 14-7 lead at one point, but now trail by 14 with under 5 minutes to play.
And really hats off to this New Orleans Saints defense, who have had a tough year, and they put everything together last week to shut out with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And except for those two big plays to Des Bryant, they've been pretty good this afternoon.
Romo out of the shotgun on first down. To the outside is Bryant, who had a huge first half. That is his 7th catch today.
A huge first half, but then disappeared. Took too long to get back to Des Bryant in the second half.
And the run game also. That first half run game was, I'll tell you what, helped that passing game out so much to play action. It's been non-existent here in the second half.
Second down and 3. Romo sets. Now he fires downfield. It is Bryant who makes the catch at the Saints' 31-yard line. Another spectacular catch by Des Bryant, who gains 41.
Tell you what, the tempo's definitely picked up here. Something they need to do with only 3:55 left on the clock.
Cowboys with 2 timeouts remaining. They need a pair of touchdowns. Murray picks up a Dallas first down.
Well, that's good second effort right there, because I thought DeMarco Murray was going to make a mistake and get tackled inbounds, able to fight and keep his balance and get out of bounds.
So with 3:44 remaining, Cowboys on the move, trailing by 14. From the Saints' 16-yard line, 3 wide receiver set. Romo fakes the handoff. Now throws, pass intended for Dwayne Harris. Johnny Patrick on the coverage, no flags.
It's been this situation the entire first half, and I don't know if Tony Romo was upset with the call or upset with the fact that Dwayne Harris didn't get out of his break better, but you've got Des Bryant, who just keeps stepping up and making the big play, and if there's any chance of him being one-on-one, I'm going in that direction.
Bryant with 8 receptions today, 220 yards. There he is, bottom of your screen. Romo backpedaling, throws, end zone. It's Harris for a Cowboys touchdown.
What do I know, Kenny?
Back shoulder throw.
You're worried about somebody, you're going to get somebody one-on-one. You can't double cover everybody. There's your trips formation. Witten, the inside guy, Miles in the middle. Dwayne Harris on the outside. Pretty impressive throw catch right there.
Nice job of keeping his feet in also.
For Dwayne Harris, his first career receiving touchdown. Scored on a punt return earlier this year. Romo with his 3rd touchdown pass today. Bailey the extra point with 3:35 remaining. The Dallas Cowboys pull to within 7. .335 remaining in Arlington. Redskins have already won today. Cowboys not eliminated with a loss. NFC East will come down to week 17. A 5-play, 80-yard drive. Romo hitting Dwayne Harris for the touchdown.
Well, does Tony Romo have a chance to be prophetic? He talked about, hey, if we're within 14 points in the 4th quarter, our team believes we can win that game, and they've got an opportunity to do that right here.
Deep kickoff by Bailey. Sproles takes it out. We welcome those of you who have just joined us who have been watching the Rams and the Buccaneers. 3:32 remaining. 4th quarter in Arlington. Saints leading the Cowboys by 7. The New Orleans offense back out onto the field. Drew Brees has thrown for 389 yards, his 9th 300-yard game this season. Saints closing in on 500 yards of offense. That's a season high. And Bryant for the Cowboys with a pair of 58-yard touchdown receptions, both in the second quarter.
And they have really kind of controlled the line of scrimmage and dominated offensively. Drives of 10, 16, 12, and 10 plays during the course of the game today. And here's your biggest one of the afternoon.
3:32 on the clock. Cowboys have 2 timeouts remaining. On first down, it is Ingram. Mark Ingram out to the 20-yard line. Gain of 5. He scored the game's first touchdown. Saints led by 3 at the half, 17-14. And then a key turnover. Only turnover of the game committed by the Cowboys. DeMarco Murray led to the Saints' go-ahead score.
That's amazing. Unbelievable. I mean, they've been so good today offensively, just moving up and down the field.
Saints have run 80 plays on offense. The Cowboys just 45. Second down and 5. Pass from Breeze is caught by Jimmy Graham, who looks to have a Saints first down out across the 25-yard line. Clock continues to run. 2.5 remaining. Saints must run a play prior to the 2-minute warning. Now 20 seconds on the play clock, so a 2-second differential. From the 26 on first down, it is Ingram. As we hit the 2-minute warning, with the Saints leading the Cowboys by 7. You talk about game management. Jason Garrett knew the Saints had to run that play prior to the 2-minute warning. So with 2 timeouts remaining, he lets the Saints run the play, and now, assuming the Cowboys stop New Orleans on the next 2 plays, they can use each of their timeouts, get the ball back following a punt with about 1:45 remaining.
And because of that difference in the play clock and the game clock, it didn't matter how you did the 3 stoppages. You're going to end up around the same point either way.
Yeah, I don't think that Drew Brees knew that he had to run a play. He looked up at the play clock and then ran into the huddle, got one off before he got a penalty or had a call timeout.
So now, second down and 11. Sproles bottled up. And the Cowboys will use their second timeout. 1:54 remaining. Time for a game break. We head to Los Angeles and Patrick O'Neill. Patrick.
All right, Kenny, thanks a lot. Coming up on Fox, most of you will see America's game of the week. Joe Flacco, the Baltimore Ravens, hosting Eli Manning, the New York Giants. For the Ravens, a win. They clinch the AFC North. The Giants just trying to keep their playoff hopes alive in that crazy NFC East. Looking forward to that one coming up on Fox. Back to Kenny, Moose, and Moose.
All right, Patrick. 2 went to the Giants are in, still with a chance to win the division. Giants and Eagles next week, Cowboys and Redskins next week. 3rd down and 10. Cowboys with 1 timeout remaining. If the Cowboys hold the Saints here, they will get the ball back. Breeze on 3rd down under pressure from Hatcher. He throws, and Colston able to make the catch. It will depend on the spot.
Jason Hatcher is going to get the pressure and force Drew Brees to the outside, coming right up the middle, flushes him out to the right.
Drew Brees makes a great throw off his back foot.
Yeah, but a good job by Michael Jenkins. They're coming in, closing that gap, making sure Marcus Colston can't get the first down, and then a heady play by Marcus Colston. You know, make sure that the clock keeps running.
Saw the first down marker as Rob Ryan marking where he feels the spot should be. It is marked just shy of the 35-yard line.
Putting all your eggs in the basket on 4th down.
4th and short.
Well, you mentioned, Kenny, they've been eliminated from the playoffs with that win by Minnesota. But right here, I mean, if you're talking about winning and getting to 8-8, I think this is a risky decision by Joe Vitt.
So the Saints leave their offense on the field. Cowboys were not forced to use the timeout as Colster went out of bounds. 4th down and 1.
He's going to try and draw him offside. Yeah. That was a good job by Dallas staying onside. Drew Brees does have a really good hard count. Not good enough, though.
Like I say, if you're going to go for it there, wow.
Yeah. But knowing Joe Vitt,
I know that. You know what? When they put him on camera, I'm like, you know what? He might do this.
You know, his personality is to go for it. He's that kind of guy. So I wouldn't have been surprised at all if they ran a play.
I agree, Tony. I mean, take a shot at it with the hard count. Drew Brees is as good as anybody in the NFL right now, working that inflection.
So now Morstead out to punt it away with 1:45 remaining.
They need to stay on sides here. Also,
they do. Terrific kick by Morstead. Wayne Harris takes it out to 7. Harris tries to turn upfield. And he is finally tackled by Travaris Cadet at the 36-yard line. A 57-yard punt and then a 28-yard return by Harris, who scored the Cowboys touchdown moments ago.
Oh, what a great couple of minutes of football Dwayne Harris has had.
Nice blocks also by his teammates.
Not only nice blocks, Tony, but smart blocks. John Phillips right there working on Will Herring. Don't push him in the back. Just get in there and shield him.
So here we go, 1:29 remaining. Cowboys out of timeouts from the 36-yard line, trailing by 7. Romo to the far side to Marco Murray. And Murray up the sidelines, picks up some huge extra yardage before he is finally knocked out of bounds at the Saints 42 as Murray gains 22 yards.
Oh, what a great sail job. Going out of bounds, Johnny Patrick buys it right back inside and then down the sidelines for about 10 or 15 more. What a great effort by DeMarco Murray.
The nice job is he stays right there on the edge, knowing that he can get out of bounds at any time. Really smart job.
New set of downs for the Cowboys. 1:20 remaining in regulation. From the Saints 42. Romo steps up, drops it off to Des Bryant. Beautiful tackle by Patrick Robinson at the 38. Gain of just 4.
Very enticing right there. You've got Des Bryant working one-on-one. Can he run away? But when you don't, you lose valuable time on that short gain.
Under a minute remaining. 2nd down and 6 from the Saints 38. Romo fires. It's Witten. Jason Witten. Taken down just inside the 20 by Johnny Patrick. 19-yard pass play. Clock continues to run. Down to 40 seconds. Romo directing traffic. And he will stop the clock. With 32 seconds remaining, it will be 2nd and 10 from the Saints 19.
Oh, that was a lot of work just to clock that ball. The way he's adjusting the formation. I thought he was going to snap a play. Let's go back and see how you lose track of this guy in a critical situation.
Roman Harper just thought he was going to run. Jason does a nice job of just stopping right there and getting open.
Well, Tony Romo said, when we are behind by 10 or 14, we're going to find a way to win. Cowboys trailed by 14 with under 4 minutes remaining. Pulled to within 7. And now with 32 seconds remaining, 2nd and 10 from the Saints' 19-yard line. Romo looking right and throws it out of bounds.
A lot of pressure right into the face of Tony Romo on that one. Just, you can see as the ball come off his hand, it's got to sail. He's got no way to get through and follow through on this throw.
Helped up by his left tackle, Tyron Smith. So now 3rd down and 10. 27 seconds on the clock. Bryant split wide to the left. Austin to the right. Harris in the slot. Romo on 3rd down to the end zone, out of the reach of Witten.
Curtis Lofton on the coverage there.
Yeah, good coverage.
Nice job of running with him.
Sometimes you get in this situation, Tony, and you're so focused on the points that you need to tie the game that you lose sight of down and distance. That was 3rd and 10. Could you work something on the sideline and get a short gain at that point? Jason Witten had a step on him. If he would have dropped that in, just a little over the top.
So it comes down to this 4th and 10. 21 seconds remaining here at Arlington. Everybody out. Romo on 4th down to the end zone. Touchdown! Miles Austin!
Congratulations, Miles Austin, because you had a tough time here in the 4th quarter. You had a drive with 3 drops earlier this quarter, and you make the big play.
Wow, for Tony Romo to go have confidence to throw it to Miles Austin once again on the last play possibly of the game. Miles Austin does a nice job of going and bringing it in.
Barely the extra point. We are tied at 31.
I tell you, when you've got quarterback and wide receiver that have developed timing, this becomes such a difficult route to stop. It's that fade stop. You're going into the end zone, and it's thrown to the back. As a quarterback, Johnny Patrick's got momentum that carries him beyond the receiver, and it's right to the back shoulder of Miles Austin.
He wasn't letting that one go there, Darryl. Look at him at the end of this catch. He's doing whatever he can to hold on to that ball.
The Dallas Cowboys score 2 touchdowns in 3 minutes, 20 seconds on their last 2 possessions. Force a Saints punt in between. Come back from 14 points down to tie the game.
How good is Tony Romo in that situation to actually say during the course of the week, you know, this group has come so far. We feel even if we're 14 points down in the 4th quarter, we'll find a way to win that game, and that has not been the case with these guys. It just hasn't in the recent future. And I am so impressed with how they've been able to do this during the course of this win streak that they're on, winning these games at the end the way they have.
But they haven't won yet. 31 all, 15 seconds remaining. Here, Thomas on the return. Cowboys winning in overtime last week. They also won in overtime back on November 18th against Cleveland. So 2 of their 4 home wins have come in overtime. And how about Drew Brees' numbers today? 404 yards in the air and 3 touchdowns. Both quarterbacks have thrown for 400. First time that has happened in the NFL this season.
The most important play of this game, if we go to overtime, is going to be the coin flip. Because I don't know if either defense can stop either offense right now.
And remember, a touchdown on the opening possession in overtime ends the game. Field goal does not. So we are headed for overtime in Arlington, Texas, as the Cowboys come back from 14 points down in the final 3 minutes, 35 seconds. Coin toss, of course, determines possession. Both teams with an opportunity to possess, unless the initial possession is a touchdown or a defensive score. Each team with 2 timeouts. All replays initiated from upstairs. Cowboys, as we said, have already won 2 overtime games this season. They have never won 3 in a season in franchise history. Saints have been eliminated due to the Vikings win, but they would like to get to 500 with wins in the last 2.
15-minute overtime period. Each team gets to possess the ball unless we have a touchdown or a safety. Each team gets 2 timeouts. Replay will be handled upstairs. New Orleans is the visitors. You'll call the coin. There's heads and that's tails. And you call tails. There's a heads. Dallas will receive.
The Cowboys win the toss. Miles Austin with a game-time touchdown. Overtime is next. We get set for overtime here at Cowboys Stadium. Tony Romo and the Cowboys trail by 14 points with under 4 minutes remaining. What an atmosphere as the Cowboys come back and tie the game.
Unbelievable the way that New Orleans had played offensively at 31-17. I don't think there's anybody that thought we were going to get to overtime except the Dallas fans. Holy cow.
Dallas fans who watched their team win in overtime last week. Cowboys 2-0 in overtime. Saints 0-1. Lost to Kansas City back in week 3. Romo has thrown for 404 touchdowns to Des Bryant in the first half. Murray 40 yards on the ground. The key fumble. How about those numbers?
Unbelievable. Just an unbelievable afternoon. I mean, he has taken this game over at times. And the question, Tony, right now, Dallas's offense has been going up and down the field here to get to overtime with those 2 touchdown drives. How tired is the Saints defense?
I'll tell you what, they were looking winded in that last drive, but we'll see what they can do right here.
Cowboys can win the game with a touchdown on this opening possession of overtime. If they kick a field goal, Saints will have an opportunity. Romo to the near side to Witten for a Cowboys first down at the 31-yard line. Gain of 11.
Great catch right here by Jason Witten. Watch him go, bring this in, get both feet down, and solidify the catch. It's right against his body.
And Goose with that catch ties Tony Gonzalez, the all-time record by a tight end. 102 receptions in a season. Cowboys keep it on the ground on first down with Murray. And he's bottled up. Fights his way back to the line of scrimmage. So Jason Witten, 5 receptions.
Tony Gonzalez, a big Jason Witten fan, too. We've had Atlanta a couple times and talked to him about the tight ends in the NFL.
He breaks the record. Now 103. Out to the 36-yard line. Gain of 5. So Cowboys now facing 3rd down and 5. Opening possession of overtime. As the crowd now acknowledges the new NFL record set by Witten. When you break a record with that many catches, I guess you deserve to have the story told up on the video screen here at Cowboys Stadium.
And a standing ovation.
Big play, 3rd down and 5. Cowboys must get to the 41. Romo sets and throws. He was looking for Bryant. Robinson on the coverage. So Cowboys will punt it away. Sproles back deep for New Orleans.
I think they play this well. Look at they back off. Look at the separation. So I'm thinking slant, but it's like Patrick Robinson actually kind of baited them into that one. I'm going to give you a cushion. I'm going to draw that throw over here on the slant, but I'm going to break on the ball and deflect it.
Brian Moorman back at his own 23. Makes a Cowboys bounce, scooped up by Sproles at the 18. Out of bounds at the 26. How about Drew Brees Day back home in the state of Texas?
He has been outstanding this afternoon. I mean, both of these offense, but Drew Brees has done a really nice job of understanding where his matchups are this afternoon, and the running backs coming out of the backfield or Dave Thomas coming out of the fullback position as the tight end. They've been able to get those matchups with the linebackers, and Drew Brees has really exploited those mismatches this afternoon.
One thing this defense for the Dallas Cowboys is missing. DeMarcus Ware is out with that shoulder. See if these crew of guys right here that are in right now get a little pressure on Drew Brees.
And that is a huge loss, Goose. Brees on first down, wide open. Jimmy Graham takes it across midfield into Cowboys territory. Gain of 26 from Brees to Graham.
Anthony Spencer on the line, but he's coming in pressure, getting into that soft spot right there.
I don't know, man. Overtime, you shouldn't have a wide out or a tight end or anybody open up. Secondary needs to run to the ball a little better.
Saints win the game with any type of score. They are in Cowboys territory. Cowboys stay alive, though, no matter the result. With a huge game against the Redskins next Sunday. Here, Thomas. Very tough to bring him down. Takes it all the way to the Dallas 41. And when you start thinking about the potential field goal, Garrett Hartley's season long is 53. So the Saints would need only 6 more yards to get to that spot.
There was nothing there on that last running play by Pierre Thomas, and he gained 7 yards. That is great individual effort.
And by his offensive line pushing the pile 6 yards so he can at least get something.
Cowboys forced a key turnover against Pittsburgh in overtime last week. They'd love to do it again. Eric Frampton with the coverage. Jimmy Graham wanted a flag. None thrown.
And if you're going to blitz, you're going to have to cover one-on-one. And that means somebody's got Jimmy Graham. It's Eric Frampton. I don't know what Jimmy Graham's complaining about. I didn't see pass interference there.
So now, for the Saints, 3rd down and 3 from the Dallas 41.
Keep an eye on it. Darren Sproles coming out of the backfield. That's something that this defense has struggled with all day.
Sproles now set up to the right of Drew Brees. 3rd down and 3. It's Graham, and he picks up a huge New Orleans Saints first down as he made the catch in front of Claiborne for a gain of 7.
He came right off the field with his right hand. He might have done something to his finger on this catch. Great release on the inside move right there. But Jimmy Graham is going to jump up right now and just get right to the sideline.
Yeah, it looks like it popped out of place there.
David Thomas in for Graham. But a huge catch, his 7th of the game. New set of downs for the Saints from the 34-yard line. Sensabaugh comes up to make the tackle as Mark Ingram takes it for the Cowboys' 33-yard line. There's Hartley. His season long is 53. Jimmy Graham back on the field here for the Saints.
Now Hartley does have the wind to his back. Both ends of the stadium are wide open. The roof is open, and there's a breeze coming off his back, so does have a little help. He hasn't been kicking very well. Missed the first one.
On this end from 36. Second down at 9. Brees complete, and then the ball pops loose. And it rolls all the way down to the 2-yard line. Again, we'll wait for the officials to officially let us know. Looked like Graham on the recovery.
Eric Frampton slow getting up.
Officials saying it's Dallas ball here on the 2. I don't know why.
But first we got to go back and see if he had control on the catch and the punch. So let's check that first. Coming out of the slot, Marcus Paulson catch. He's got possession. Ball is loose. Now great hustle, Jimmy Graham and Eric Frampton. Look at dead heat right there, 27 and 80. 2 guys hustling, trying to make the huge play of the game.
The previous play will be reviewed.
I don't know if that was a catch, Dal. It seemed like that he never had control of that ball.
The other thing is, it looks like Jimmy Graham has the recovery down there at that point. I think he's got control, Tony.
Yeah.
But did you see they ruled Dallas ball?
Yeah, they did, and then they changed it. Now they're saying it's New Orleans ball on the 2. Walt went in there and changed that up.
Yeah, because it sure looked like Jimmy Graham had it at the end.
Absolutely.
Coaches cannot challenge in overtime. All reviews initiated by the replay booth. As we welcome in Mike Pereira from Los Angeles. Mike, what did you see?
Well, I'll tell you two things here. First of all, if they ruled, which it appears that they did, that Dallas recovered the ball at the 2, that part of the play is not reviewable. So whoever is ruled to recover the loose ball in the field of play, that's going to stand as call. But you got to go now back to the catch. Did Graham control the ball, maintain control long enough, and here's the key, long enough to perform an act common to the game, which is described as having it long enough to pitch it, pass it, or turn and move upfield. So that's what they're going to look at as you look at it, as you look at the shots. Did he maintain control long enough? That's the whole element. You forget what happens down at the 2-yard line if, in fact, that they lead this as a catch and a fumble.
Mike, seeing the play, what do you think? Was it a catch?
Well, I mean, you look at it, first of all, this was just on one of their training videos. They're going to say, don't slow this down any slower than the TV shows it. So you don't want to
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field is confirmed. Catch, fumble, recovery by New Orleans. New Orleans first and goal.
All right, thanks, Mike. So it is ruled a catch by Colston, a fumble, recovery by Jimmy Graham at the Dallas 2-yard line. So here's Hartley. Grew up in Southlake, Texas, attended Carroll High School. This is for the win from the left hash. It'll be a 20-yard attempt. Chase Daniel will place it down. Hartley for the win. His kick is good. So the New Orleans Saints come away with the victory in overtime, despite the Cowboys coming back from 14 points down to the final 4 minutes. Dallas very much stays alive. There will be scoreboard watching with the Giants and Ravens underway, and then the Cowboys and the Redskins next Sunday. But the Saints win this one 34-31. America's Game of the Week is next.